Chapter 978 Thunder Island. After walking out of the arena, Wang Xian returned to his residence. Wang Xian didn't care about crippling Lu Minghai and Qin Shan. The two of them were courting death. Wang Xian had a limit to his patience. After being provoked one after another, he naturally wanted to make an example out of others. He warned the others that if they provoked him again, they should think about the consequences first. As for the young master's mercenary group's revenge, if they still dared to take revenge, they would do it. Wang Xian would not show any mercy. The next morning, Wang Xian did not go to class. Instead, he walked straight to the Demon Hunters Academy's mission office. The Demon Hunters Academy's mission office was where the students of the Demon Hunters Academy received their missions. This mission office was connected to the missions of the Mercenary Association outside the academy. However, there was a difference. There were special missions that could not be obtained from the hiring association within the mission office of the Demon Hunters Academy. Sometimes, the academy would issue large-scale missions as well as assessment missions. After completing the mission, not only would one be rewarded, one would also be able to obtain points. Points could be exchanged for information and treasures. The students of the Demon Hunters Academy would all receive missions from the mission office. That's Wang Xian. It's him. The young man who chopped off Lu Minghai's arm is very strong. What is a freshman doing here? Is he doing a mission? There's no movement from the young master's mercenary group and the Amethyst mercenary group. Could they be secretly preparing to deal with him? The place where the Demon Hunters Academy received their missions was similar to the Construction and Employment Association. There were many students around him. When he entered the hall, many of them recognized him immediately. However, it was different from 2 days ago. Today, these students were only discussing, and no one came up to provoke him. His vicious methods had indeed made many people fearful. Wang Xian walked straight ahead. On the screen in front, there were all kinds of missions scrolling. Ao Yao and the rest would be back in 2 days. Therefore, he had to look for some missions in the next 2 days. He had to look for good missions and search for information. When the time came, he would start doing missions to increase his strength. With a glance, he saw all kinds of missions. After the mission reward, there were also points reward. For a silver level mission, the points would be at least 1,000. For a gold level mission, the points could reach up to 10,000. And if one wanted to exchange for a transcendent level 5 weapon, they would need 1,000,000 points. Of course, if the points were insufficient, they could use spirit stones to make up for it. Thunderstorm region, Dragon Wind region, Wind Arrow Mountain region, Forest region, Water region. Wang Xian looked at the mission screen. It was completely different from the Mercenary Association. The missions of the Demon Hunter College were actually divided into regions. These 5 regions were the places near Donghai City where missions were conducted. They were also the regions where wild beasts were more concentrated. Other than the lush forest region, the rest were in the ocean. Whichever region one was more familiar with would be chosen. This would greatly increase the success rate of the mission. In addition, when searching for information, one would also be able to choose the corresponding region better. Wang Xian looked at the missions in each region with a face full of curiosity. The lowest mission was silver grade, and the highest was diamond grade. The highest mission was 5-star diamond grade. Hunting the Dragon Phoenix Demonic Beast King in the Dragon Wind region. The Dragon Phoenix Demonic Beast King was a terrifying demon at the first level of the Void Interpretation realm. He would extract its essence in blood. Let's go, the special mission is about to start. According to the investigation of the experts in the academy, the Thunder Island in the Thunderstorm region has been lacking in lightning recently. We can enter it successfully and obtain the Thunder Fruit. The Thunder Island is a land of treasures. It is covered by lightning all year round. There are many Thunder-type creatures and many treasures inside. However, according to the records, the danger of the Thunder Island is a little high. Those who are below Transcendent Level 4 will be courting death if they enter. The Academy has already issued the mission. Go and accept the mission. Just as Wang Xian was investigating the mission, a series of boisterous voices suddenly came from behind. Wang Xian turned his head around in puzzlement and saw students walking towards the mission announcement. He looked over in puzzlement and indeed, there was a special mission at the side. The special mission represented the unique mission of the Demon Hunter College. Head to the Thunder Island to obtain the Thunder Fruit, 1-star gold mission. 1 extraordinary 5th grade Thunder Fruit. Reward 50,000 middle grade Spirit Stones and 1,000 points. Rank 6 extraordinary Thunder Fruit. Reward 400,000 middle grade Spirit Stones, 10,000 points. Rank 7 extraordinary Thunder Fruit. 3 million middle grade Spirit Stones, 100,000 points. Note: the lowest rank of the creatures on the Thunder Island is rank 3 extraordinary. Those below rank 4 extraordinary are best not to enter. The reward for this mission is so high. On the market, a rank 5 extraordinary spiritual herb spiritual fruit is worth between 40,000 and 50,000 points. And this is without any points. Wang Xian was intrigued. The Thunder Island was located in the middle of the ocean and was filled with aquatic creatures. The lowest level of the beasts was level 3 transcendence. By devouring them, one could increase their dragon energy. Wang Xian's eyes flickered. He took out the badge of the mercenary group and immediately walked towards the place where he received the mission. Qing, you must go too. You should know that although your strength is not bad, it is still a little dangerous to go to the Thunder Island. Deputy Leader, I have to go this time. Don't worry, I won't become a burden to you guys. You guys don't have to help me either. Sai, you don't have to rush to repay the spirit stones you owe the team. You're only in the 3rd grade, and your talent is very good. Now you should focus on your training and accumulate experience. There's no need to take the risk. Deputy Leader, just let me go. Such opportunities are rare for me. At this moment, the voices of 2 girls came from behind. Wang Xian was slightly taken aback and turned around. There were 7 to 8 girls. Each of them looked valiant with weapons in their hands. The one who was in the middle of the conversation was a girl with short hair. This girl was slightly burly. Wang Xian knew the one who was talking to her, Qing, the sister of Qin Shan, whose limbs were crippled by him. All right. The slightly burly Amethyst mercenary group looked at Qing's pleas and nodded helplessly. I promise you, but you have to be careful. Thank you, Deputy Leader. Don't worry. Qing revealed a smile on her face. When she turned her head around, she immediately saw Wang Xian, and her expression instantly darkened. It's you. Before Qing could speak, a girl at the side recognized Wang Xian and sized him up coldly. So you're the one who crippled Qing's younger brother's limbs. HMPH, your methods are so cruel. The other girls looked over and stared at Wang Xian coldly. The deputy leader of the Amethyst mercenary group also raised his eyebrows. Shut up. Wang Xian glanced at them and said coldly before turning around. You, kid, who are you talking about? A girl glared at Wang Xian and questioned him loudly. Don't bother me. Wang Xian was a little impatient. After saying that, he passed the badge to the staff in front of him. Take the mission from the Thunder Island. All right. The female staff who was sitting inside looked at the badge in surprise. Then she looked outside and nodded. Chapter 979 was preparing to take revenge. He asked us to leave you alone, to accept the mission from the Thunder Island? The mission from the Thunder Island? Did he also accept the mission from the Thunder Island? When the group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group heard Wang Xian's words, their eyes sparkled as they stared at him. Wang Xian didn't pay attention to the gazes of the group of girls behind him. He took back his mercenary badge and turned around to leave. What a coincidence. We are going to the Thunder Island too. When the time comes, don't let us meet you. Otherwise, although I won't kill you, I will teach you a good lesson. That's right. You'd better pray that you won't meet us on the Thunder Island. A few girls glared at Wang Xian angrily when they saw him leaving with an expressionless face. When the time comes, I hope all of you can still say such things. Wang Xian paused for a moment and looked at them mockingly. Before long, I will defeat you and make you apologize to my younger brother. Qin Qing gritted her teeth and said firmly to Wang Xian. He smiled faintly and walked out directly. Earlier, he used his dark fire dragon eyes to check their good and evil points. All of them were considered good people, and Wang Xian couldn't be bothered to argue with them. HMPH kid, just you wait. What's there to be proud of? It'll be easy for us to take care of you. That's right, that's right. If our vice leader makes a move, he'll be able to beat you down easily. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group behind them spoke with slight disdain when they saw Wang Xian leaving immediately. The burly girl who was standing in the middle smiled faintly and didn't say anything. Looks like that freshman Wang Xian really offended the Amethyst mercenary group. That's right. The Amethyst mercenary group is famous for their unity. It's just that I didn't expect that Wang Xian would actually accept the mission from the Thunder Island. Does he have the ability to do so? In the hall, the students of the Demon Hunters Academy who witnessed this scene were discussing curiously. That kid is leaving the city for a mission at this time. I think he's courting death. He's too stupid. In a corner, a young man suddenly whispered to his companions. Huh? What do you mean? His companions looked at him in surprise. Look, the Amethyst mercenary group clearly wanted to teach him a lesson just now. Besides the Purple Gold mercenary group, there's also the Young Master mercenary group. He looked around, and his gaze fell on a skinny young man. Finally he added, that kid has been targeted. He's probably going to die. Finished. The gazes of the youths froze, and they fell silent. The Demon Hunter Academy was a very special academy. It didn't belong to Star Moon Kingdom, nor did it belong to any faction. It was only a place to nurture mercenary groups. In fact, the founder of the Demon Hunter Academy was a mercenary group. Other than being isolated and being taught by instructors, the Demon Hunter Academy was no different from a mercenary group in the outside world. If you died while you were in school, the academy would not care about it. Even if the academy knew who killed you in the wild, the academy would not avenge you. That was because this was a place to train mercenary groups. That was the rule of the mercenary group world. Therefore, in the Demon Hunters Academy, it was not uncommon for people to kill each other for revenge. Some of them were even public. For example, the 100 Source mercenary group, who was ranked 9th, and the Black Wind mercenary group, who was ranked 12th, were mortal enemies. When these two mercenary groups met in the wild, they basically risked their lives and even found an opportunity to ambush each other. In the battle between the two mercenary groups, dozens of people died. This was something that was made public in the academy, but the Demon Hunters Academy would not care about it. As long as they followed the rules in the academy, it would be fine. Other than the academy, no one would ask if they were dead or alive. Obviously, if that young man went to the Thunder Island for a mission at this time, the Young Master's mercenary group would definitely not let go of this good opportunity. Wang Xian came out from the mission office and walked straight to the library. He was going to search for information about the Thunder Island to prepare for his trip to the Thunder Island in 2 days. I want to search for information. Wang Xian walked to the staff and asked him directly. What information do you want to search for? The staff asked him. Information about the Thunder Island and the Thunderstorm region. Wang Xian replied directly. There are a lot of information about the Thunderstorm region. If you want to search freely, you need 500,000 points. The staff said to Wang Xian directly. That much? How do you exchange points in spirit stones? 100 middle grade spirit stones, 1 point. That's really expensive. Wang Xian took a deep breath and exchanged 10,000 points. This method of buying points was rarely done. It was too expensive and was an unfair trade. However, this was the rule of the Demon Hunters Academy. Without points, one could not check the information. 10,000 points. Although one could not check the information of the entire Thunderstorm district, they could check the information of the vicinity of the Thunder Island. However, just as Wang Xian was checking the information, Something happened at the position of the young master's mercenary group. Deputy leader, are we really going to send the information to the Academy's forum? A young man from the young master's mercenary group frowned slightly and asked. Yes, that kid provoked us so much. We must let everyone know the consequences of provoking us. The young man holding the communication stone plate smiled faintly. The Academy won't ask about it anyway. I also want to see if that kid is a coward. We have plenty of time. A fat young man beside him said with a smile. Everyone laughed and chatted. 10 minutes later, a post from the Demon Hunters Academy caused a huge sensation. Wang Xian, let's meet on Thunder Island. It was a very short line of words. The message that was posted showed Yin Hanhai. Almost everyone in the Demon Hunters Academy knew the name Yin Hanhai. He was the deputy leader of the Young Master's mercenary group. He was the young master of the Yin family, a famous bloodline family in Eastern Sea City. The Yin family was a family with a level 9 extraordinary bloodline. They were members of the family and could successfully reach level 9 extraordinary after activating all their bloodlines. Yin Hanhai's current strength had reached level 6 extraordinary. He was a top-notch expert in the Demon Hunter College. His words could represent the young master's mercenary group. This short line of words also meant that the young master's mercenary group would make a move against Wang Xian on the Thunder Island. This was a blatant threat and warning. What the fuck? That freshman Wang Xian is going to the Thunder Island for a mission. Haha, I saw a group of goddesses from the Purple Gold mercenary group at the mission office, wanting to teach this Wang Xian a good lesson on the Thunder Island. I didn't expect the young master's mercenary group to make a move as well. If the young master's mercenary group announced it directly, would Wang Xian still dare to go? A new student who just arrived should keep a low profile. Now he's doomed. Moreover, with his strength he can go to the Thunder Island? Can he complete the mission? One by one, replies appeared below. When a new student provoked the young master's mercenary group, everyone knew that this new student was going to be unlucky. Moreover, this time's misfortune was very likely to be death. Chapter 980, Returned and Set Off. Many people in the Demon Hunters Academy were discussing the grudge between Wang Xian and the Young Master's mercenary group and the Amethyst mercenary group. Especially the matter between Wang Xian and the Young Master's mercenary group. Many people had already felt that based on Wang Xian's previous actions, the Young Master's mercenary group would only stop after he died. The grudge between them had already reached a very deep level. Wang Xian didn't know what happened in the Academy's forum. If he knew, not only would he not be angry, he would even be looking forward to it. It was more interesting to fight in the wild. If they attacked him in the wild, he would be able to obtain a lot of things. At the very least, the people he killed could become resources for the dragon pool. Wang Xian was very welcoming of their revenge. For the next day, Wang Xian spent the entire day in the library reading up on various information. Dragon King were back. 2 days later, when Wang Xian had just opened his eyes, Ao Yao's voice came from outside. Wang Xian smiled. Call Ao Jian and the rest over. It's the Dragon King. Soon, Ao Yao, Ao Jian, and the rest arrived at the courtyard. Dragon King. These are all the spiritual stones obtained from the 3 assassinations. A total of 89 million middle-grade spiritual stones. Ao Yao handed over the 2 interspatial rings. Wang Xian took them and looked at the spiritual stones inside. A smile appeared on his face. Not bad. 89 million spiritual stones, together with the spiritual stones in his hands, amounted to more than 106 million. If he were to buy elixirs and exchange them for spirit stones, it would be equivalent to 70,000 to 80,000 dragon crystals. However, it was still very far away from upgrading to 1 million dragon crystals. Bring the badge of the Celestial Phoenix mercenary group and follow me, Wang Xian said to them directly. It's the Dragon King. The group of members of the Dragon Palace nodded immediately and followed Wang Xian out of the city. When Wang Xian walked out of the courtyard, he sensed a gaze. Wang Xian swept his gaze across and looked at the thin and weak young man. A hint of mockery appeared at the corner of his mouth. This thin and weak young man had been following him for a few days. He knew who had sent him here. On the road, Wang Xian and the rest got off the horse carriage and rushed out of the city. Donghai City was very big. It would take half an hour to walk out of the city. The speed of the horse carriage was much faster. Beside the carriage, there were many people riding on ferocious beasts. All kinds of ferocious beasts were traveling at a speed that was no slower than the carriage. Should I get a mount in the future? Wang Xian thought to himself. After about 10 minutes, the carriage arrived at the entrance of the city. In front of them, there was an endless wasteland. Within a radius of 10 kilometers outside the city, there were no ferocious beasts. Only in the ocean would there be ferocious beasts. In the area outside the city, there were many mercenary groups and chambers of commerce coming in and out. It was unusually lively. After passing through the city wall, it was a completely different world. Inside the city, it was like a bustling city. Outside the city, it was like the end of the world. This was the supernatural world. Let's go. Wang Xian did not hesitate at all. With a move of his body, he immediately flew towards the location of the ocean. In the sky, there were at least a few thousand supernatural experts flying. Wang Xian increased his speed and flew towards the thunderstorm area. The thunderstorm area was 80 kilometers away from Donghai City. It would take more than an hour to fly there. Due to the radiation from Donghai City, there were not many flying ferocious beasts within a radius of tens of kilometers. Even if there were flying ferocious beasts, they would avoid them after seeing Wang Xian and the rest. The thunderstorm area is ahead. Lower the altitude. Wang Xian looked ahead. There were dark clouds in front of him, and heavy rain was pouring down at some locations. From time to time, lightning would pierce through the dark clouds, as though it was tearing apart space. The entire area was so vast that one could not see the end of it. The dark clouds made the ocean that was tens of thousands of meters deep look extremely deep, as though it was an abyss. The sea and the sky were the same color, and it was extremely depressing. There were obviously fewer people flying around. As they walked deeper, they could see huge creatures emerging from the surface of the water from time to time. Most of these aquatic creatures were at transcendent level 4 and 5. In the ocean, these creatures were very difficult to deal with. Even if they were water elemental cultivators, it would take a lot of time to kill them. Wang Xian looked down with a strange look in his eyes. There aren't many ferocious beasts. He thought to himself as he looked into the distance. More than 10 kilometers away, there was an incomparably huge island standing in the middle of the ocean. The tallest mountain on the island was pierced through the black clouds. The strangest thing was that there were dense bolts of lightning around the island. According to the information Wang Xian got from the information, it was because there was a metal on the island that could attract lightning. The entire island was huge, and there was a type of lightning tree on it. In the past, no one dared to enter this island. The occasional lightning could cause the death of an extraordinary level 5 or 6 powerhouse. Only those who were not afraid of death and were short of money dared to enter to search for the lightning fruit. The higher-ups of the Demon Hunters Academy received the news that the lightning here was much weaker than before. Hence they gave out this mission. Why are there still so many people there? As they approached the Thunder Island, Wang Xian saw that there were more than 100 people gathered at the edge of the island. They are the students of the Demon Hunters Academy. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. Let's go, let's go. He moved his body and sped up towards the Thunder Island. Haha, 5 extraordinary level 6 thunderfish. Our luck is really good. It took us 2 hours to exhaust them to death. It's really not easy. Wang Xian had just flown over when he saw the corpses of the 5 ferocious beasts on the ground. They had 4 legs, but their bodies were similar to fish. The scales on their bodies were like lightning. At this moment, the 5 thunderfish had already been killed and were lying on the ground. Everyone, distribute the meritorious service according to the merit. A burly girl said to everyone around her. It's Deputy Leader Xiao. We didn't manage to find the thunder fruit, but we managed to kill 5 thunderfish together. It's also a great harvest. Haha, it's our good luck. As the group spoke, they began to distribute the loot. Someone is here. It's him, the new Wuxia. A gold-level mercenary group. The Immortal Phoenix mercenary group? When the people on the Thunder Island saw Wuxia, the atmosphere changed instantly. When they saw them, all of them had shocked expressions on their faces. This new Wuxia was actually the leader of a gold-level mercenary group. Everyone looked at the girls from the Amethyst mercenary group. At this moment, everyone from the Amethyst mercenary group also saw Wuxia. Qing stared at Wuxia and frowned slightly. HMPH, so it's an arrogant brat like you who is here. It's great that I can teach you a good lesson in the wilderness this time. A girl from the Amethyst mercenary group raised her head slightly and flexed her wrist. She sized up Wuxia and the rest. Wuxia's gaze swept across them. There were 7 to 8 mercenary groups in total. Among them, the Amethyst mercenary group was the strongest. Chapter 981. Arrived one by one. At the edge of the Thunder Island, a group of Demon Hunters Academy's mercenary group students stared at Wuxia with a face full of curiosity and mockery. Some of them had been on the Thunder Island for a day, while others had been here for more than 10 hours. The students of Demon Hunters Academy would usually cooperate with each other in such special missions. If someone was in danger, they could call for help through the communication stone plate. 2 hours ago, when one of them just arrived, he was unlucky enough to encounter 5 transcendent level 6 thunderfish. They immediately called for help. Very soon, many mercenary groups on the Thunder Island rushed over and killed the thunderfish. A transcendent level 6 thunderfish was worth 500,000 to 600,000 mid-grade spirit stones. 5 of them meant more than 3 million. Although they had a larger number of people, they still managed to reap a lot of rewards. However, what surprised them was that they actually bumped into this influential person on campus, the new student Wuxia. In the Academy's forum, everyone had been discussing about Wuxia for the past 2 days. Furthermore, they were bumped into by the members of the Amethyst mercenary group. Wuxia looked at the members of the Amethyst mercenary group, who had an unfriendly expression. He raised his eyebrows slightly and stared at them coldly. Oh, are you still not convinced? Kid, I don't like you very much. The girl from the Amethyst mercenary group raised her eyebrows and walked slowly toward Wuxia. A faint pressure was emitted from her body. The aura of an extraordinary level 5 was clearly displayed. Sister Qing, you don't have to do it. Let us do it. This kid has offended classmate Qing. Let us help you teach him a lesson. Around them, the leader of a mercenary group walked out with a smile and said to the girl, "That's right, let us do it. Sister Qing, tell us how to teach this kid a lesson. Leave such a small matter to us." The young men quickly said. Among the people present, the Amethyst mercenary group was the strongest. Furthermore, they were the ones who had to depend on them to kill the 5 beasts that were at extraordinary level 6. The rest of them naturally wanted to curry favor with them. One by one, the students walked out and looked at Wuxia and the rest provocatively. They smiled and said, "Sister Qing, forget it." At this moment Qing, who was standing at the back, suddenly said, Xiao Qing, how can we just forget it? This kid hurt your younger brother." The girl was slightly stunned. She pointed at Wuxia and said to her in astonishment, "Forget it." Qing shook her head with a complicated expression. It has already happened. Furthermore, Xiao Shan was the one who made the first move. So forget it. If one day my strength becomes stronger, I will spar with him myself. This, Sister Qing saw that even Qing, the person involved, had said so. She raised her eyebrows and said, "Forget it then. Since Xiao Qing has said so, I will let you off this time." As she spoke, she raised her head slightly at Wuxia. "Hehe, this is your well-known choice." Wuxia saw their discussion and said indifferently, "This time, it's your luck." As he spoke, He walked straight into the Thunder Island, with a group of members of the Dragon Palace following behind him. When Sister Qing saw Wang Xian saying this, she was stunned. An angry expression instantly appeared on her face. You really don't know what's good for you. It seems like you need to be taught a lesson. Fuck, you're too arrogant. Student Qing spared you once, yet you still dare to act pretentious. Sister Qing, as long as you say the word, we will fuck him immediately. That's right, you're too arrogant. When the people around heard Wang Xian's words, they also shouted angrily. Student Qing was merciful enough to let you off, yet you still dared to say such words. You're simply asking for a beating. Sister Qing glared at Wang Xian indignantly. She frowned slightly when she saw him flying into the room. Forget it. I won't argue with this little fellow. If he is so arrogant, he will be at a disadvantage sooner or later. Let me say this. The goddesses of the Amethyst mercenary group are too kind. If it were me, I would have crippled him long ago. That's right. Everyone said in a fawning manner. All right, distribute the thunderfish. I will take out the spiritual stones that are equivalent in value to the thunderfish. The vice leader of the Amethyst mercenary group opened his mouth and ended their conversation. All right. Everyone hurriedly nodded their heads. According to their respective strengths, they obtained the corresponding spirit stones. Another person is coming. In less than 5 minutes, they saw another person flying towards them. This time, there were about 20 people flying over. It's Yin Han Hai, a group of Young Masters mercenary group. The vice leader of Young Masters mercenary group is here personally. What are they trying to do? They brought quite a number of people, as well as the experts outside the academy. Everyone looked over, their gazes sharp, and their faces revealed astonishment. A group of 20 people flew towards the Thunder Island. In the middle was a handsome young man with 3 special stripes on his face. Beside him were 5 young men, and more than 10 middle-aged men. These middle-aged men were not students of the Demon Hunters Academy, but belonged to the Young Masters mercenary group. The Demon Hunters Academy students could establish a mercenary group to recruit members from outside the academy. The strength of recruiting members from outside the academy could not exceed the founder. The academy would conduct an investigation on the mercenary groups with members from outside the academy. Once it was discovered that an external force had used the identity of the Demon Hunters Academy students to obtain benefits, they would be severely punished by the Demon Hunters Academy. No one dared to exploit this loophole. In the academy, the top 10 mercenary groups all had external members. Furthermore, they were all very powerful. The external members of the Young Masters mercenary group were even more powerful. Beside Yin Han Hai, there were 2 experts at Transcendent level rank 6. The rest were all at Transcendent level rank 4 and rank 5. Deputy Leader Xiao. Yin Han Hai looked at the people on the island, and looked at the deputy leader of the Amethyst mercenary group in the middle. He was all smiles. Yes. Deputy Leader Xiao nodded his head faintly. Did you see that freshman Wang Xian? Yin Han Hai looked around and asked with a smile. Yes, I saw him. Deputy Leader Yin. That guy just went in. When a student heard his words, he quickly pointed inside and said, Oh, thank you. Let's go and meet that freshman who dared to threaten us. Deputy Leader Xiao, goodbye. Yin Han Hai looked inside and walked in with a smile. The experts from the Young Masters mercenary group actually rushed over. Even Vice Captain Yun is here. It seems that Wang Xian won't be able to leave this place this time. He's definitely going to be killed by the Young Masters mercenary group. Otherwise, Vice Captain Yun wouldn't be here. I think that kid is courting death. He's too arrogant. He's done for now. The surrounding students watched Yin Han Hai and his group enter the Thunder Island and discussed in hushed voices. HMPH, that kid is going to be unlucky. It's not just unlucky. With Young Masters mercenary group's despicable and vicious nature, that freshman is going to die. A few girls from Amethyst mercenary group also said in hushed voices. Chapter 982. breaking through the main peak. The group of people watched the group of experts from the young master's mercenary group enter. After packing up their things, they also walked towards the Thunder Island. The Thunder Fruits were their mission item this time around. If they could obtain a few Thunder Fruits, their trip here wouldn't have been in vain. As for that new student, they could already predict the outcome. Wang Xian entered the Thunder Island and sized up his surroundings with his bewitching gaze. The Thunder Island was a little dark. If it wasn't for the occasional lightning bolts falling from the sky, the surrounding area would be pitch black. Due to the thunderstorm and rainy weather, the island was filled with water all year round. The seawater under his feet reached his knees. Around him were black thunderstruck trees. The lightning trees were not very tall. Each of them was about 7 to 8 meters tall, and more than 10 meters tall. Their branches and leaves were not very luxuriant. There are thunderfish running around on the lightning island. They are like lightning. Even the weakest one is at level 3 of transcendence. The thunder fruits grow on the thunder vines. Ordinary thunder fruits can reach level 5 of transcendence. There must be a thunderfish guarding each of the thunder fruits. Wang Xian recalled the information he had read and scanned his surroundings. The Thunder Island was very large, with a radius of 50 meters. Crackle! Crackle! At this moment, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck toward his position in the sky. Wang Xian leaped and avoided his previous position. Let's go and search for the ferocious beasts and thunder fruits. The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly as he spoke to the members of the Dragon Palace around him. It's the Dragon King. Everyone followed behind Wang Xian and flew forward rapidly. Wang Xian, who was flying in the sky, scanned his surroundings with his dragon eyes of light and dark fire. 700 meters away, there are 2 thunderfish. One is at level 3 and one is at level 4 transcendence. Wang Xian looked to his left and pointed with his arm. Just as he finished his words, the 2 golden swordfish moved and attacked the left in an instant. 11 golden swordfish at level 4 of the Extraordinaire could definitely fight against a level 5 Extraordinaire. The 2 ferocious beasts below level 5 of the Extraordinaire were instantly killed by them. Their corpses were directly stored in the interspatial ring. 3 thunder beasts, 2 level 3 Extraordinaires, and 1 level 4 Extraordinaire. Wang Xian continued to fly forward. He pointed with his arm and spoke again. The 3 golden swordfish charged forward directly. After entering the Thunder Island, which made everyone cautious, Wang Xian was like an emperor. He pointed with his arm, and the warriors of the Dragon Palace charged forward instantly. One by one, the ferocious beasts were killed easily. According to the information, the closer to the center, the more thunder beasts there will be, and the stronger they will be. There will even be thunder fish at level 7 or 8 of the supernatural realm on the mountain peak. As for whether there are existences at level 9 of the supernatural realm, or even stronger, I don't know. Wang Xian raised his head and looked towards the center. There was a huge mountain peak that went straight into the clouds. This mountain peak was shrouded in lightning all year round. Thunderfish could only become stronger by absorbing lightning. The thunder fruit was also born from lightning. The location of the mountain peak was the most dangerous place on the Thunder Island. Head towards the center and break through the main peak. Wang Xian moved his body and scanned his surroundings. The light and dark fire dragon eyes could scan an area of about 1,500 meters in this environment. This distance was sufficient. There are 5 thunderfish in front. 2 are at Transcendent Level 3 and 3 are at Transcendent Level 4. Wang Xian said directly as he flew forward and swept his gaze forward. The golden swordfish started to move, and so did the strange demons that were hiding in the void. By the time Wang Xian reached there, the 5 thunderfish had already been dealt with. As they continued to move forward, they encountered more and more thunderfish, and they became stronger and stronger. Soon, Wang Xian and the rest arrived at the center of the island, at the foot of the huge mountain peak. Thunder fruit. Just as they arrived at the side of the mountain peak, Wang Xian saw a purplish-red vine lying on top of the mountain peak with a purplish-red fruit on it. The fruit was flickering with traces of lightning and looked extremely mystical. This is a fruit of level 5 transcendence. Only by obtaining the lightning fruit can I complete the mission. Wang Xian revealed a faint smile as his gaze swept across the surroundings of the lightning fruit. As expected, not far away from the lightning fruit, there were 2 lightning fishes of level 5 transcendence lying beside it. The lightning fishes had 4 limbs. Their scales were flickering with lightning and could release lightning attacks. The lightning of the thunder beast was extremely terrifying. Without sufficient countermeasures, it would be extremely miserable. Without needing Wang Xian to speak, Ao Jian, Ao Yao, and the rest attacked directly. In addition to the 21-odd demons of Ao Yao, their combat strength was at least at level 6 transcendence. Against 2 level 5 transcendence, they could be killed in an instant. Wang Xian grabbed the thunder fruit with his arm. Thunder fruit, level 5 of the supernatural realm. Extractable dragon energy, 25 dragon crystals. A level 5 of the supernatural realm thunder fruit is equivalent to a level 4 of the supernatural realm elixir. The amount that can be extracted is really small. Wang Xian waved his arm and placed the thunder fruit into his interspatial ring. He raised his head and looked at this huge mountain peak that was 5,000 to 6,000 meters tall. A smile appeared on his face. There should be quite a number of thunder fruits on this mountain peak. Wang Xian moved his body and flew straight up. He scanned his surroundings with his ocular skill. Crackle, crackle, crackle. When he had just reached a height of 100 meters, a few hundred bolts of lightning came from the mountain peak. A large number of bolts of lightning enveloped Wang Xian and the rest. So many. Wang Xian revealed a look of surprise. Let's do it. He shouted softly and attacked the surrounding thunderfish. The density of the thunderfish on the mountain peak was beyond his imagination. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Wang Xian waved his arm. The dense would attribute instantly caused some of the thunderstruck trees on the mountain peak to elongate crazily as they attacked the thunderfish one by one. More than 10 extraordinary level 5 thunderfish were instantly bound by the thunderstruck trees. Wang Xian clenched his arm, and the thunderstruck trees immediately strangled the thunderfish to death. Be careful, Wang Xian reminded Ao Jian and the rest. With his dragon eyes of light and dark fire, he realized that there were more than 100 thunderfish within 1,000 meters. The density of the thunderfish made Wang Xian feel a little troubled. However, with Ao Yao and the rest around, he did not cower. Ao Yao, who was at level 9 extraordinary, was fearless unless he encountered 2 or more thunderfish above level 9 extraordinary. There are 2 thunder fruits over there. Wang Xian easily killed more than 10 thunderfish. He looked up and flew towards the 2 thunder fruits. Crackle, crackle. At this moment, a large area of lightning appeared around him and attacked him. On the dark mountain peak, the thunderfish that were flashing with lightning stared at him fiercely. The bottom and the top of the mountain peak are like 2 different worlds. The top of the mountain peak is too dangerous. Wang Xian moved his body, and flames instantly covered his entire body. The lightning that covered an area of 1,000 meters flashed around him, causing one's scalp to turn numb. There's a battle happening on the central mountain peak. What's going on? Could someone have gone there? The main peak of the Thunder Island is the most dangerous place. Even a level 7 or 8 supernatural realm expert might die there. However, there are a lot of thunder fruits there. Let's not worry about thunder fruits. Let's find that kid first. After killing him, we can look for thunder fruits. Chapter 983. Treasure Lightning Strike Wood. Yunhan Hai and the others looked at the large area of lightning on the main peak of the Lightning Island, their hearts palpitating. The main peak of the Lightning Island was the most dangerous place on the Lightning Island. With their strength, they didn't dare to step onto the main peak's height of 500 meters. The entire main peak was the place with the highest density of lightning, and there were many thunderfish gathered there. Similarly, there would definitely be a lot of lightning fruits there, but they didn't dare to take the risk. Speed up a bit, let's find that kid first. Yun Hanhai scanned the surroundings and said to the members of the young master's mercenary group, "It's young Master Yun." The group nodded and began to search the surroundings. Among the 20 of them, there were 3 transcendent level rank 6 experts, and they were very powerful. As long as they didn't enter the main peak, there wouldn't be too much danger. However, what they did not expect was that the person they were looking for was currently on the main peak. Kill. Wang Xian and the rest had only flown 500 meters when they encountered dozens of extraordinary level 5 thunderfish. They were scattered around in groups. In the middle of them, there was a lightning fruit that was flashing with light. Wang Xian moved his body and charged toward the dozens of thunderfish. He used the Azure Dragon's energy to control the surrounding lightning trees and charged towards the thunderfish one by one. Ao Jian and the rest were supporting him from behind. Once the thunderfish were trapped, they would charge forward immediately. When faced with ferocious beasts of the same level and trapped, their metal longswords could penetrate the thunderfish's body and kill them in one strike. Ao Yao brought his subordinates and quickly harvested the thunderfish's corpses. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 thunder fruits were all at transcendent level 5, which made Wang Xian very satisfied. The 4 thunder fruits were equivalent to more than 200,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Together with the corpses of the thunderfish, they instantly harvested more than 1 million mid-grade spirit stones. Such a speed of harvesting was extremely terrifying. Not everyone could do what Wang Xian did. If it were a powerful mercenary group, even if they had great strength, they wouldn't be as freakish as him. With the unique light and dark fire dragon eyes, it could increase the efficiency of Wang Xian and the rest by more than 10 times. There are extraordinary level 6 thunderfish up there. Ao Jian, you guys clean up the battlefield at the back. Wang Xian raised his head and looked up. There were already extraordinary level 6 thunderfish at a height of more than 1,000 meters above the mountain peak. There were extraordinary level 6 thunderfish at a height of 1,000 meters. Wouldn't there be extraordinary level 8 or 9 thunderfish at the peak of 5 to 6,000 meters? Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked at the thunderfish lying on the rocks. He stretched out his arm and pointed at more than a dozen directions. Then, he waved his hand at the group of strange demons. A transcendent level 6 thunderfish was about to be taken seriously. Crackle! Crackle! One by one, the strange demons concealed themselves in the void and appeared beside the thunderfish. Then they attacked with their sharp claws. The sharp claws penetrated the vital parts of the thunderfish and killed them in one strike. With their piercing eyes, they had a high chance of assassinating creatures with stronger defenses. However, the counterattacks of some of the thunderfish before they died still alarmed the surrounding thunderfish. Cuckoo! A strange cry came out from the mouths of some of the thunderfish. The lightning once again covered the entire area. Wang Xian smiled and moved his body to attack the remaining thunderfish. The difference in strength between each level of transcendence was huge. Wang Xian's combat strength of level 7 transcendence, in his human form, could deal with dozens of ferocious beasts of level 6 transcendence. The thunderfish of level 6 transcendence did not pose any hindrance to him. 8 thunder fruits of level 6 transcendence. Wang Xian kept them and looked up again. He did not go to the other side of the mountain peak. He wanted to see how strong the strongest thunderfish at the peak of the main peak of the Thunder Island would be. If they were not strong, after he finished them off, the entire Thunder Island would be unimpeded. He could easily kill all the thunderfish and obtain all the thunder fruits. He continued to kill his way up. In half an hour, he traveled a distance of 2,000 meters and killed more than 100 level 6 extraordinary thunderfish. Level 7 extraordinary. There's a level 7 extraordinary. Could there be level 9 extraordinary thunderfish at the summit? When he reached a height of more than 3,000 meters, Wang Xian looked ahead with a hint of wariness in his eyes. In his line of sight, 3 5 to 6 meter-sized thunderfish were lying on rocks one by one. On the rocks at this location, there were flashes of lightning. The long-term lightning strikes caused the rocks to be imbued with powerful lightning. In fact, 1,000 meters above them were thick black clouds. As for the situation above the black clouds, Wang Xian had no idea. "Ao Yao, it's up to you now." Unless Wang Xian could easily kill a level 7 supernatural beast after transforming into a divine dragon, he would have to expend some energy in his human form. Other than Ao Yao, there were 2 other strange demons who possessed the offensive power of a level 7 supernatural beast. However, this would waste too much time. Wang Xian directly ordered Ao Yao to take action. "Dragon King, leave it to me." Wang Xian passed the location of the thunderfish to Ao Yao. With Ao Yao's strength, the thunderfish of transcendent level rank 7 were quickly killed. For a ferocious beast of transcendent level rank 7, even if Wang Xian were to devour it, he would be able to increase it by 700 to 800 dragon crystals. 4 thunder fruits, and they are of transcendent level rank 7. Wang Xian smiled. He flew over immediately and kept the thunder fruits. With Ao Yao taking action, his speed was no slower than before. One by one, the thunderfish were killed. In just 10 minutes, Wang Xian had found more than 10 level 7 supernatural thunder fruits. "Dragon King, do you want to continue?" After Ao Yao killed the last thunderfish around him, he looked up and asked Wang Xian. Wang Xian also raised his head and looked up. Above them there were thick black clouds. The crackling sound of thunder and lightning could be heard from behind the black clouds. Wang Xian's eyes flickered as he looked up with his dragon eyes. Up here?" Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly and revealed a surprised expression. "Ao Yao, let's go up and take a look. The rest of you stay below." Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and said to Ao Jian and the rest, "It's the Dragon King. Let's go, Ao Yao. The dark clouds are filled with lightning. Be careful." Wang Xian said to Ao Yao and leaped into the dark clouds. "Transform into a dragon." His body underwent a terrifying transformation. A 30-meter-long 5-colored divine dragon appeared directly in the dark clouds. Ao Yao leaped and followed beside Wang Xian. Crackle, crackle. Walla. Crack, crack. The thickness of the black clouds reached more than 30 meters. Wang Xian slowly poked his head out, and the sound of dense thunderbolts could be heard from his surroundings. Thunderbolts. There were thunderbolts everywhere. They covered an area of 4,000 to 5,000 meters. The entire mountain peak was covered by the thunderbolts. That is, Wang Xian stuck his head out of the black cloud and stared at the top of the mountain peak. There a blue light was shining. Chapter 984. The Battle at the Peak of Mountain. What kind of treasure is that? Wang Xian revealed a surprised expression. The lightning at the peak of the mountain was not as violent as the ones around him. Instead, it was filled with a kind of life force. This kind of special life force seemed to be nurtured by something. Wang Xian's eyes lit up. His eyes sparkled as he stared at the location of the mountain peak with his gigantic dragon head. The mountain peak that passed through the dark clouds was more than 1,000 meters long. On this 1,000-meter-long mountain peak, the rocks were no longer ordinary rocks. There was a blue glow on top of the mountain peak, which contained the terrifying power of lightning. On the mountain peak, there were 7 to 8 gigantic thunderfish. Each of them was about 10 meters in size. Furthermore, the fins of these thunderfish were extremely huge and emitted a blue glow. These thunderfish had evolved into wings. This was especially so for the one closest to the peak. It had the largest body and was bathed in lightning, as if it was hibernating. The entire space was extremely noisy due to the sound of thunder and lightning. Wang Xian's pupils contracted slightly. The 7 thunderfish that were 10 meters in size were existences of level 8 extraordinaire. As for the thunderfish that was close to the peak, its strength might not have reached level 9 extraordinaire, but it was still at the peak of level 8 extraordinaire. Even Wang Xian could not guarantee that he would be able to defeat it. Good. There are no beasts at level 9 transcendence. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. If a level 9 transcendence appeared, Ao Yao would be able to deal with it. However, Wang Xian was not a match for this group of level 8 Transcendence beasts. There were 7 level 8 Transcendence Thunder fruits. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings. Other than the thunder fish at the peak of the mountain, which did not have any thunder fruits, there was a huge thunder vine beside the other 7 thunder fish. A thunder fruit fell onto the thunder vine, shining brightly. Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly. I haven't fought with my full strength since I came to the Transcendence continent. Today, I can have a good fight. Ao Yao, get ready. Wang Xian glanced at him. Ao Yao nodded her head and disappeared instantly. She flew toward the strongest leader of the thunderfish on the mountain peak. Buzz. 10 seconds later, the figure of the strange demon appeared directly behind the thunderfish. His sharp claws attacked the vital parts of the leader of the thunderfish. Crackle, crackle. However, the moment Ao Yao appeared, the lightning around him suddenly became violent. Bolts of lightning as thick as an arm attacked Ao Yao directly. Ao Yao's expression did not change at all when he saw this. His body flashed as lightning passed through his body. At the same time, his sharp claws pierced into the body of the lightning fish. The violent energy destroyed its body. Cuckoo! An angry roar was heard. The lightning fish that was attacked widened its eyes and opened its huge mouth. Terrifying lightning flashed in its mouth. Cuckoo, cuckoo! It let out a miserable cry. Crackle, crackle! Lightning instantly covered its entire body. In an instant, it condensed into a long spear and attacked Ao Yao. Death struggle. Ao Yao moved. Black and white shadows flickered and appeared 100 meters away. His eyes revealed a confident expression. Cuckoo! The leader of the thunderfish twisted its body in pain, as if it was making a final struggle. Caw-caw! Suddenly it opened its mouth. It was at the peak of the mountain above it, the area that was covered in blue light. Blue-green lightning rays were attracted by it and entered its body directly. Cuckoo! Slowly, the leader of the thunderfish calmed down. At the spot where its wound was, flesh and blood slowly squirmed. Ao Yao's eyes revealed a serious expression. I actually failed to assassinate a thunderfish at the peak of extraordinary level 8. Wang Xian revealed a look of surprise. His gaze looked at the blue area of 10 square meters at the peak of the mountain again. Cuckoo! Cuckoo, cuckoo! The sudden appearance of the attack woke up the rest of the thunderfish. Their eyes were suffused with blue light as they stared coldly at Ao Yao. Fight! Wang Xian saw the situation and moved his body. He swayed his 30-meter-long body and attacked the thunderfish closest to him. Gold Crack Void. As soon as he came up, Wang Xian did not hesitate and released his metal attribute divine ability. Countless golden rays condensed in the air at a height of 5,000 to 6,000 meters. They tore apart the black clouds and the lightning around them and attacked the extraordinary level 8 thunderfish. Cuckoo! The ferocious beast let out a low growl and opened its huge mouth. Crack! A bolt of lightning that was 3 to 4 meters thick descended from the sky. Rays of golden rays struck out. Under the lightning, the golden rays were extinguished immediately. Flame of the Fire Dragon. Wang Xian's expression did not change. He opened his huge mouth and shot out flames that were 100 meters long. Cuckoo! The scales on the thunderfish's body were shimmering. The compressed power of lightning was emitted from the scales and formed a defense in front of him. Wang Xian did not stop his speed at all. When the flame of the fire dragon landed on the scales of the thunderfish, it was blocked directly. However, the scales of the thunderfish dissipated immediately. Wang Xian's figure had already rushed over. The dragon claws that were emitting golden light clawed at the thunderfish. Cuckoo! The thunderfish's eyes were extremely cold. When it saw that Wang Xian was only 50 meters away from it, it didn't panic at all. Whoosh! 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 In an instant, the thunderfish scales on its body exploded and covered the sky and earth as they went towards Wang Xian. Light and darkness. Wang Xian's heart skipped a beat. Black and white rays of light flashed across his body. Buzz! The lightning fish scales passed through, and Wang Xian's dragon claws attacked. The lightning fish was obviously stunned for a moment. However, at this moment, the 4-meter-long dragon claws had already grabbed onto its body. Hiss! The terrifying divine dragon claws landed on it and directly grabbed into its body. Its huge body was flung forcefully. Boom! The terrifying divine dragon's strength caused it to land heavily on the mountain peak. A violent sound reverberated within a radius of a few thousand meters. A huge mountain rock rolled downwards. Roar! Wang Xian let out a roar. The powerful supernatural power of light and darkness caught a torpedo fish off guard and caused it to be severely injured. He let out a loud roar and initiated the battle. Cuckoo! Die! As a divine dragon, Wang Xian was able to sense the information transmitted by the aquatic creatures. Even if the intelligence of the ferocious beasts was not high, they were able to transmit vague information. Looking at the 2 thunderfish that were attacking him in an instant, Wang Xian's eyes flickered. Buzz! Bang! Ao Yao's body intercepted one of the thunderfish in an instant. His light dark body stared at the other 6 thunderfish strangely. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief. With his strength, he could only deal with 1 thunderfish at most. The one just now was severely injured when he was caught off guard. The light dark void divine ability could no longer be used for a short period of time. However, Wang Xian was still very knowledgeable when it came to dealing with one. Roar! He let out a wild roar once again, and met with the thunderfish that was attacking him. Chapter 985 was in a fierce battle. Wang Xian was fighting 1-on-1 while Ao Yao was fighting 6-on-1. The thunderfish with huge wings were emitting blue lightning. They flapped their wings and looked extremely mystical. With a body size of 10 meters, bolts of lightning were falling around them in the sky. They were extremely powerful. In Wang Xian's opinion, the strength of these thunderfish was not very strong among those of the same level. However, in this place, on a peak of 5,000 to 6,000 meters, and in an area filled with lightning, their strength could increase by at least 50%. Increasing their combat strength by 50% would allow their strength to reach the peak of extraordinary level 8. Wang Xian's eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. Roar! He opened his huge mouth. Dense flames gathered in his mouth as he attacked the thunderfish in front of him. Whoosh! However, the thunderfish moved its body slightly and easily dodged his attack. They were only a few hundred meters away from each other. How could they be dodged in an instant? What a fast speed! Wang Xian was astonished. He didn't expect the heavy and huge thunderfish to be so agile. Lightning was considered to be the best in terms of speed. Boom! The flames that Wang Xian spat out landed heavily on the mountain peak and dissipated immediately. The mountain peak here had been struck by lightning for an unknown number of years. The internal structure of the mountain peak had changed and was extremely tough. Crash! At this moment, the attack of the thunderfish arrived. Bolts of lightning struck at him. Wang Xian's body shook. In an instant, earthen yellow shields appeared in front of him and blocked in front of him. His body moved and he moved forward. His terrifying dragon claws attacked the thunderfish. The thunderfish's physical body could not be compared to his divine dragon body at all. Even though Wang Xian's current cultivation was only at level 5 of the extraordinary realm. Roar! Seeing Wang Xian's attack, the thunderfish raised its head. The sky suddenly lit up and terrifying bolts of lightning attacked Wang Xian directly. Kacha! The lightning descended directly. With a move of Wang Xian's tail, a water screen instantly appeared above him. Roar, roar! The thunderfish roared again, and another huge bolt of lightning descended. Boom! Wang Xian's expression changed slightly as he hurriedly dodged to the side. However, the moment the first bolt of lightning struck him, his body stiffened and his movements slowed down. Hiss! Wang Xian swayed his body as a painful look appeared in his eyes. Crackle, crackle! At this moment, Wang Xian suddenly realized that the entire sky had turned violent. He was slightly stunned as he looked to the side. He saw that the 6 thunderfish were emitting dense thunderbolts from their bodies. The thunderbolts in the sky also condensed together. Crash! Wang Xian quickly regained his senses and saw that the thunderfish in front of him had used the momentum to release the thunderbolts at the same time. The thunderbolts in the sky became even more violent. The dark sky was torn into a long line. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. He raised his head and said, "Water hazard explosion city. Water hazard explosion city." In an instant, a seawater that covered an area of 2,000 meters and was more than 10 meters thick met the thunderbolts in the sky. Boom. However, the water crisis exploding city was unable to withstand the lightning in the sky. The dense lightning was like the might of the heavens. Wang Xian's body shook and his entire body turned yellowish-brown. Boom, boom, boom. The dense lightning landed on his body and tore open numerous wounds. Fresh blood that was emitting light flowed out, causing Wang Xian's body to tremble violently. FUCK, if we were to fight in this place, even a transcendent level 9 would have a high chance of dying at their hands. Unless it's a lightning attribute powerhouse. Wang Xian's face was slightly distorted. From the corner of his eye, he saw Ao Yao dodging continuously in the air. With his powerful speed, he was still struck by lightning many times. Half of his white body was turning black. The 7 thunderfish were like half of a magician. They were floating in the air and releasing lightning nonstop, attacking their bodies. Light dark fire dragon eyes. Wang Xian growled in a low voice. 2 streams of flames from his eyes attacked the thunderfish directly. The wood world has descended. The moment the light dark fire dragon eyes were released, the wood world had descended. Streams of trees condensed from the azure dragon's energy covered the thunderfish directly. The tree branches wrapped around the thunderfish. The thunderfish's body glowed brightly as countless lightning bolts shot out from its body. The thunder fruit landed on the trees, causing them to turn black. However, the descent of the tree world still restricted the thunderfish's movements. The dragon's eyes of light and dark fire landed on its body, causing its pupils to reveal a panicked expression. "Coo coo!" It shouted loudly. At the area covered by the flames, bolts of lightning fell onto it, trying to extinguish it. This is the time. Wang Xian moved his body and attacked the thunderfish directly. When the thunderfish saw Wang Xian approaching it, it flew rapidly into the sky. "Get down!" Wang Xian swung his huge tail and threw it towards the thunderfish. Boom! A terrifying force landed on the 10-meter-sized torpedo fish, causing it to crash heavily into the mountain peak. Crack! 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 A rock on the mountain peak cracked open, and the 10-meter-sized rock rolled towards the bottom of the mountain peak. Wang Xian moved his body and rushed over again. The 2-meter radius around his upper abdomen was burned by the endless wood flames. His body was also subjected to the terrifying flames. The torpedo fish could only hurriedly set up a lightning barrier in front of him. However, Wang Xian's 30-meter-long body crashed heavily into the lightning and was knocked away. The lightning broke apart like glass. Wang Xian's 20-meter-long body landed heavily on the torpedo fish again. Boom! 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 Some of the rocks on the mountain peak cracked open and rolled down slowly. Boom! At this moment, the same terrifying sound of collision could be heard from the side. Wang Xian turned around and saw 3 thunder beasts crashing into the mountain peak. A smile appeared on his face. On the Ao Yao's side, it was obviously not a big problem to deal with 6 thunder beasts. Go to hell! Wang Xian saw the thunder beasts spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. 2 pairs of dragon claws charged towards them. It was a fatal blow. Coo coo! Seeing Wang Xian's attack, the thunder beast's abdomen began to bulge. Boom! A lightning pillar was sent straight for the attack. A dying struggle. Wang Xian's eyes revealed a cold expression. His body moved, and he quickly dodged to the side. Whoosh! Ah! You still want to escape? Wang Xian narrowed his eyes slightly, and the flames in his mouth shot straight at him. Coo! Coo! The injured thunder fish did not feel it. Even when the flames landed on its body, it did not resist. Its body flew swiftly to the lightning, while the fish scales on its body flickered with light. A blue-green lightning bolt landed on its body. The endless wood flames on its abdomen were slowly extinguished. Oh no, it's going to recover. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. Chapter 986 was a huge harvest. Coo 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 coo. The sound of the thunder fish was heard. On the other side, 6 heavily injured thunder fish leaped up and flew up the mountain. Pooh! However, it was not that easy to shake off Ao Yao. Ao Yao's black and white figure flashed and arrived on top of a thunderfish's head. His claws went straight into its head. Boom! A violent explosion occurred on its head. The body of the thunderfish was instantly put into the Ao Yao's interspatial ring. Cuckoo cuckoo. Seeing another thunderfish die, the leader of the thunderfish let out an angry roar. The remaining 6 thunderfish were all gathered on the peak of the mountain, surrounding the 10-meter-wide area that was emitting a blue-green light. The injuries on their bodies were slowly recovering under the glow. Ao Yao came to Wang Xian's side in an instant with a solemn expression. Dragon King, I'll kill them. Take the treasure on the top of the mountain. Ao Yao clearly realized that the treasure on the top of the mountain was extraordinary. It was definitely not simple for it to be able to heal the injuries on its body quickly, and was valued by the thunderfish. Alright, be careful. Wang Xian looked at Ao Yao and nodded. Ao Yao had some injuries on his body, but it was not a big deal. Kill. Ao Yao growled in a low voice. His body moved and instantly attacked the 6 thunderfish. When the group of thunderfish saw Ao Yao disappear into the air, their faces were filled with fear. Roar! The leader of the thunderfish let out a furious roar. He opened his huge mouth, and his 5 to 6 meter long fish whiskers stood up. Crackle! The other 5 thunderfish also raised their heads like the leader of the thunderfish, and their fish whiskers stood up. The thundersnakes covered an area of 1,000 meters, and there was no gap at all. Ao Yao's figure was instantly forced out. The light and darkness on his body slowly intertwined together, blocking the surrounding thundersnakes. His speed did not decrease as he attacked the 6 thunderfish. Xiao xiao cuckoo! The 6 lightning fishes flapped their huge wings and attacked Ao Yao with lightning wings. The lightning fishes standing around the mountain peak have become stronger. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. After hesitating for a moment, he arrived at the foot of the mountain peak. Wrath of the Earth. Wang Xian transformed into the Earth Dragon God. The rich Earth attribute energy was boiling in his body as he unleashed the Earth attribute divine ability for the first time. Wrath of the Earth. Rumble. At the top of the mountain peak, the diameter of the mountain peak was about 200 meters. The mountain peak that was struck by lightning all year round was extremely sturdy. However, Wang Xian's strength was not to be trifled with. The huge Earth attribute divine ability landed directly on the mountain peak. The entire mountain peak started to tremble violently as huge rocks started to fall downwards. Boom! 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 Wang Xian swung his huge tail and swung it towards the top of the mountain peak. Boom! 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 Streaks of tears appeared on the mountain peak as even larger rocks began to roll downwards. At this moment, at the bottom of the mountain peak, the thunderfish on the mountain peak could clearly sense the terrifying battle coming from the top of the mountain despite the cover of the dark clouds. Now more than 10-meter-sized rocks were rolling downwards, causing the thunderfish to show terrified expressions. They hurriedly ran towards the bottom of the mountain peak, afraid that they would be attacked by those huge rocks. The entire main peak of the Thunder Island was in chaos. Boom! 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 It's cracked! When Wang Xian struck for dozens of times consecutively, an excited expression appeared on his face. Crash! In an instant, the rocks 300 meters below the mountain peak started to collapse and fell downwards. When the group of thunderfish realized that the mountain peak had collapsed, their faces revealed a furious expression. Wang Xian moved his body and looked towards the area on the mountain peak that was emitting a blue-green light. The mountain peak was slowly falling downwards. His gaze was fixed on it. Coo 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 coo. When the leader of the thunderfish saw this situation, His eyes slowly turned blood red. He roared as the lightning in the bluish-green area seemed to be pulled. Boom! Bolts of lightning struck towards Ao Yao. Ao Yao's expression changed slightly as he hurriedly dodged. Roar! The peak of the mountain began to collapse downwards. The bluish-green area also fell downwards. Wang Xian's face was filled with joy. However, all of a sudden, he saw 5 pairs of eyes staring at him. Wang Xian's expression changed slightly. Roar! 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 The faces of the 5 thunderfish were filled with fury. The terrifying lightning struck directly at him. Not good. Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly went into defense. However, this time, it was a full-force strike from the 5 extraordinary level 8 thunderfish. Bolts of lightning struck on his defense. In just a second, the lightning penetrated through Wang Xian's defense and landed on his body. Ah! Wang Xian instantly felt as if his body was being torn apart. His face was filled with malevolence. You're courting death. At this moment, Ao Yao's figure blocked in front of Wang Xian. She immediately restrained the group of thunderfish. Wang Xian felt as if his body was about to shatter. The attacks of the 5 thunderfish caused him to be severely injured in an instant. This time, his injuries were very serious. What is this thing? Wang Xian's gaze suddenly caught sight of the blue-green area hanging on the mountain peak beside him. In the middle of the area, a blue-green wooden stick was inserted into the mountain peak. Under his gaze, the blue-green light disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Wang Xian endured the pain on his body. With a move of his dragon claws, he clawed at the wooden stick. The blue-green wooden stick was about 1.5 meters long. The light was completely restrained, and it looked like an ordinary tree. Xiao cuckoo! Roar! When they saw Wang Xian snatching away their treasures, they instantly went into a frenzy. They didn't even bother with the Ao Yao's attack. Endless thunderbolts struck at Wang Xian. Oh no! Wang Xian's expression changed drastically. He quickly moved towards the mountain peak. Boom! 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 A large amount of lightning bolts landed on his body. He could not help but spit out a large mouthful of fresh blood as his body fell downwards. Ding! Lightning strike would detect it. At this moment, the system's voice suddenly rang out. Wang Xian was slightly stunned. His body moved, and he quickly transformed into his human form. The lightning struck wood in his hand emitted a faint glow. A terrifying life force entered his body and repaired his broken body. However, compared to the almost fatal injury in Wang Xian's body, this life force could not allow him to recover immediately. He could not even sustain the strength to fly. His body fell heavily towards the bottom of the mountain peak. At this moment, the commotion caused by the main peak of the Lightning Island had attracted the attention of the mercenary groups from the Demon Hunters Academy. They didn't see the battle on the main peak of Thunder Island, but the sound of the mountain peak rolling down did reverberate throughout Thunder Island. Some people hesitated for a moment before rushing over to the main peak. As the strongest amethyst mercenary group on Thunder Island, they hesitated for a moment before rushing over. Chapter 987, Descended from the Sky. Vice Commander, what happened at the main peak of the Thunder Island? Did someone break into the main peak? In the central area of the Thunder Island, the members of the Amethyst mercenary group cautiously approached the main peak. A female student couldn't help but ask. Impossible, the main peak of the Thunder Island is extremely dangerous. Vice Commander Xiao shook his head. He looked at the huge mountain peak in front of him. Even many of our academy's higher-ups don't dare to step onto the main peak, especially the position above the black cloud. In East Sea City, even a profound void martial artist wouldn't dare to rashly charge through it. Is it that dangerous? The female student said with a face full of shock. The thunderstorm region is already very dangerous. The main peak of the Thunder Island is a dangerous place. Deputy Commander Xiao nodded slowly. Pung pung pung. At this moment, a series of loud sounds suddenly came from the top of the mountain. This sound was like a fierce beast running. What's the situation? The members of the Amethyst mercenary group were slightly stunned, and their faces revealed a grave expression. Deputy Commander Xiao and the other two extraordinary rank 6 women, who did not belong to the Demon Hunter Academy, hurriedly looked towards the top of the mountain. Not good. There are thunderfish roaring from the main peak. Everyone be careful, retreat. Vice Commander Xiao looked over. His pupils couldn't help but shrink as he loudly reminded. The group of Amethyst Mercenary Group girls held their weapons tightly as they slowly retreated. However, the dozen or so frightened thunderfish on the main peak were extremely terrifying. The group of girls hadn't retreated far when the group of thunderfish rushed down. Be careful, everyone be careful. Not good. There are at least 4 or 5 Transcendent Level 6 thunderfish. The rest are all Transcendent Level 5. When the members of the Amethyst Mercenary Group saw this situation, their expressions changed drastically. Immediately used the communication stone plate to call for help. Deputy Commander Xiao hurriedly shouted, his face revealing an embarrassed expression. More than a dozen thunderfish had come at once, especially those 5 thunderfish. With their strength, they were completely unable to deal with them. Back then, those 5 extraordinary rank 6 thunderfish were dealt with by more than 200 people at once. Just their Amethyst Mercenary Group of 28 people was completely not a match for this group of thunderfish. In fact, they might even be killed by this group of thunderfish. Coo. The group of thunderfish rushed down from the main peak. They looked at the members of the Amethyst Mercenary Group, their bodies revealing their ferocity. The dozen or so thunderfish stared at them coldly, completely treating them as food. The eyes of the 5 Transcendent Rank 6 beasts slowly swayed their fish tails. Defense, we've already sent out the call for help. Soon, the members of the other mercenary groups will come over to help us. Seeing the group of thunderfish staring at them, Vice Commander Xiao growled in a low voice. The girls of the Amethyst Mercenary Group had cold sweat on their foreheads. They gritted their teeth and clenched the weapons in their hands tightly. Crackle. However, something troublesome happened. The group of frightened thunderfish instantly launched an attack, attacking the Amethyst Mercenary Group. Fight! Deputy Commander Xiao shouted and pulled out his long saber, directly slashing at a thunderfish. A 1,000-meter-long saber light appeared in front of him. Deputy Commander Zhao's strength was not weaker than a male's. Kill! The other girls had also been through countless trials and tribulations. Even if they encountered a fierce beast stronger than them, they did not panic at all. Little Qing, be careful. A girl beside her reminded Qing. Among them, Qing's strength was the weakest. Facing this group of beasts with the lowest rank of transcendence, she didn't have the slightest ability to resist. Qing tightly gripped the long sword in her hand and nodded. Crackle. Right at this moment, more than 10 thunderfish released their attacks at the same time. Lightning instantly covered a radius of a kilometer. The group of Amethyst Mercenary Group girls hurriedly put up their defenses. Qing also released a water screen on her body. However, although it blocked the attack of the thunderfish, the water screen was also destroyed. This caused her expression to change slightly. One had to know that he was standing at the back, and her attack was the weakest. It was not an exaggeration to say that if she were to defend against the lightning directly, she would definitely be electrocuted to death. Kill! The 3 rank 6 transcendents of the Amethyst Mercenary Group shouted and charged forward. A dozen rank 5 transcendents followed closely behind. Coo. The group of thunderfish emitted lightning as they charged forward. They waved their fins and tails, releasing bolts of lightning snakes. The bodies of the thunderfish weren't that strong, but compared to humans, they were several times stronger. Their fish scales flickered with lightning, and not only could they unleash powerful attacks, they also had powerful defenses. Surround and attack. The group of people leaped into the sky, and 28 girls surrounded and attacked 15 beasts. However, at this moment, a female member of the Amethyst Mercenary Group let out a scream. A female Transcendent Level 5 was swept by a Transcendent Level 6 thunderfish, and her body was heavily pushed back, spitting out blood. She was heavily injured with just one strike. Everyone's expression changed. The gap was too big. Restrain them, restrain them. Deputy Commander Zhao's expression changed drastically as he shouted loudly. It's Commander. The girls from the Amethyst mercenary group felt a wave of fear in their hearts as they replied loudly. Their expressions were extremely ugly as they unleashed all of their strength. They were afraid that today they would. Bang! Qing, and the 4 Transcendent Level 4 girls were restraining a Transcendent Level 5 Thunderfish. She seized an opportunity and slashed the long sword in her hand heavily onto the Thunderfish's body. However, what shocked him was that when the water energy condensed into a 100-meter-long water sword landed on the Thunderfish's body, there wasn't the slightest injury. The Thunderfish suddenly turned around and swept its gaze towards the 4 girls surrounding it. Its eyes revealed a disdainful expression. It moved its fish whiskers, and a lightning whip instantly attacked her. The girl's expression changed drastically, and the long sword in her hand quickly waved. Bang, bang, bang. Tens of thousands of golden rays slashed at the lightning whip. However, they were still unable to block the lightning whip. Her expression changed drastically, and she hurriedly flew into the sky. Pa! However, the lightning whip suddenly accelerated and directly swung at the girl's body. Ah! The girl's body emitted a yellowish energy, but even so, she still let out a scream and landed heavily on the ground. If it wasn't for the Transcendent Level 4 armor, she might have died. Seeing the girl fall, Lei Yu moved and attacked the girl on the right. Qing saw her companion fall to the ground in an instant, and saw Lei Yu attacking her. Her face instantly turned pale. She did not have Transcendent Level 4 armor. Once she was attacked, she would definitely die. Her body trembled slightly. Water sword, water explosion. She gritted her teeth and immediately displayed her strongest ability. Boom! However, the fish scales on the Thunderfish's body instantly emitted a blue light and charged towards Qing without slowing down. It opened its huge mouth, revealing densely packed teeth. Clearly, it wanted to swallow Qing in one gulp. Qing, be careful. Not good, little Qing, quickly dodge. It's over. When the surrounding girls saw this scene, their faces were filled with terror. Qing's face was also filled with despair. A Transcendent Level 5 Thunderfish was not something she could contend against. Father, mother, brother. Her body trembled. Pung! However, just as she thought that she was about to be swallowed into her stomach, something suddenly fell from the sky and directly smashed onto the head of the Thunderfish. Chapter 988. The Shocked Amethyst Mercenary Group. Bang! A loud sound was heard. How did it feel to fall from a height of 5,000 to 6,000 meters? Perhaps some people didn't know, but Wang Xian could fully experience it now. At this moment, Wang Xian felt as though his entire body was crippled. His body was in extreme pain. The attacks from the few Thunderfish nearly killed him. Fortunately, he had the body of a divine dragon. Furthermore, the lightning wood in his hand had managed to heal Wang Xian's body with its immense vitality. That was why he didn't die. However, even so, after he reverted to his human form, the Azure Dragon's energy had become stronger and covered the important parts of his body. The other parts of his body were filled with wounds. All of them were torn apart by the lightning. They were densely packed and looked extremely terrifying. Compared to these external injuries, the internal injuries were also very serious. After being thrown, they were even more serious. However, fortunately, he felt as if he had landed on a soft spot. At this moment, the lightning fish was directly smashed on its head. It was a little stunned. Qing, who was only 2 to 3 meters away from the lightning fish's huge mouth, was even more stunned. She thought that she was going to be swallowed by the lightning fish in one gulp. However, she did not expect that a person would descend from the sky and directly smash onto the lightning fish's head. Xiaoqing, run! The few companions around were also a little stunned. However, they immediately reacted and shouted at Qing. Qing Qing reacted and hurriedly retreated. Cuckoo! The thunderfish gradually regained consciousness and let out a low roar. Wang Xian also regained consciousness. When he heard this voice, a hint of killing intent flashed in his eyes. It was all because of this damned thunderfish that nearly killed him. In the end, at this moment, the thunderfish beneath him moved. Wang Xian immediately realized that he seemed to have landed on a thunderfish. Gritting his teeth, he moved the thunderstrike wood in his hand. The thunderstrike wood immediately lengthened and pierced into the head of the thunderfish in an instant. The thunderstrike wood, which was accompanied by lightning, caused the thunderfish's body to tremble. Then it laid on the ground without moving. He died from the impact. Qing Qing and the other girls were completely stunned when they saw this scene. Fuck, the thunderfish that they were attacking was actually killed by a person who fell from the sky. This. Who is this? Is he still alive? One of the girls widened her eyes and couldn't help but ask. Wang Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He laid on the corpse of the thunderfish and looked to the side. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that he was in the middle of a group of people fighting against the thunderfish. His body trembled slightly as he used the thunderstruck wood to support his body. He struggled to stand up. Cough, cough. He couldn't help but cough. Drops of blood flowed out from his mouth. However, Qing Qing and the other three girls, who had been paying attention to Wang Xian, were stunned when they saw him standing up. That new student. It's actually him. They looked at Wang Xian, who was in an extremely miserable state, and were filled with astonishment. That arrogant fellow actually descended from the sky and even smashed the thunderfish to death, saving Qing Qing's life. Quick, return to the formation. We are not a match for this group of ferocious beasts. Quickly hide in the formation to block them. At this moment, Deputy Commander Zhao's voice suddenly came from the side. At this moment, her face was in an extremely sorry state. There was a black scar on her arm. It was left behind by a thunderfish during the battle just now. The three of them were Transcendent Level Rank 6 experts, along with 5 Transcendent Level Rank 5 experts. They were able to pin down 5 Transcendent Level Rank 6 thunderfish. However, they only managed to hold on for 2 minutes. If the battle continued, they would definitely be annihilated. Quick, get into the formation. The anxious voices of the members of the Amethyst mercenary group could be heard from the side. Qing Qing and the other girls took a glance at Wang Xian before they hurriedly fled towards the formation. Get into the formation. Perhaps it was Wang Xian who saved her life. Qing Qing turned around and shouted at Wang Xian while she was fleeing. However, a Transcendent Level 5 girl, who was flying over, immediately brought her into the formation. Activate. Deputy Chief Xiao saw the group of members entering the formation and shouted hurriedly. Buzz. A water blue formation rose up and formed a protective barrier with a radius of 100 meters. It protected all of them inside. Bang. A rank 6 transcendent lightning fish that was chasing after them crashed heavily into the array formation. Boom! The array formation trembled violently. Clearly, the highest level of the array formation was rank 6 transcendent. Crackle crackle. A lightning fish released powerful lightning strikes that landed on the array formation, causing it to tremble once again. Pung pung pung. The group of lightning fish saw that all of them were hiding within the array formation, so they flew over and gathered in front of them. A few thunderfish collided violently. Injured members, take your pills immediately. The Transcendent Level 6 array formation won't be able to hold on for long. If the other students from the academy come over, we'll be in trouble. When Deputy Commander Xiao saw that some of the thunderfish were gathering in front of them and attacking non-stop, his expression was extremely solemn as he said in a low voice. Sister Yuan and Sister Liang are injured. What should we do? Why aren't they here yet? If they don't come, we're completely no match for these ferocious beasts. I hope the array can hold on a little longer. The girls from the Amethyst mercenary group said in a flustered manner. Their faces were filled with worry. Deputy Commander, that new student is that new student. At this moment, Qin Qing and the two girls called out to Deputy Leader Xiao. They widened their eyes and pointed outside the array formation. Huh? What's going on? Deputy Leader Xiao frowned and looked at them. It's that new student. He suddenly fell from the sky. If he didn't hit the thunderfish, Xiaoqing might be in danger. One of the girls pointed outside and said with a strange and anxious expression. Deputy Captain Xiao was slightly taken aback. A look of astonishment appeared on her face as she looked in the direction they were pointing at. The members of the Amethyst mercenary group around also turned their heads. In an instant, when they saw that extremely miserable figure, a look of astonishment appeared on their faces. It's him, the new Wang Xian. That arrogant fellow. Why is he here? What's going on? The wounds on his body are so serious. It feels like half of him is about to die. It's over. Lei, you found him. He's going to die soon. The female students of the Amethyst mercenary group, Wang Xian, widened their eyes and exclaimed in astonishment. At this moment, the arrogant fellow in their hearts had wounds all over his body. He was holding a wooden stick in his hand. He was as miserable as he could be. He fell from the sky. He must have received some kind of attack and landed beside us. A girl quickly said to Deputy Chief Xiao. This? Deputy Chief Xiao frowned. He looked at Wang Xian, who was standing there supporting his body, as though he could fall at any moment. He shook his head slowly. She looked at the group of thunderfish in front of her and said, He has been seen by the thunderfish. He is doomed. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group looked over. As expected, two thunderfish saw him and were crawling towards him slowly. Wang Xian also saw two extraordinary level 5 thunderfish walking towards him. It was obvious that they wanted to eat him up. You are courting death. He raised his head, and his eyes were filled with calmness. Chapter 989, Insta-kill. Bang bang. A violent collision sound was heard. The water blue array trembled as if it could disappear at any time. The members of the Amethyst mercenary group stood inside with pale faces, looking at the group of thunderfish in front of them in fear. Some of the girls looked at the figure standing on the left in shock. The two thunderfish slowly walked towards him with a playful expression. It's over, that freshman is going to die. One of the girls from the Amethyst mercenary group said with a pale face. Ignore him for now, we're going to die soon. Crackle. The array is about to crack. As the girls said this, a few rank 6 extraordinary thunderfish suddenly released lightning and attacked the array. In an instant, all the girls turned their heads and stared nervously at the surrounding array formation. The water blue array formation rippled, and a small crack slowly appeared above it. Seeing this scene, everyone in the Amethyst mercenary group looked extremely embarrassed. Later, I and the two captains will stop them. You guys run first. Vice Captain Xiao gritted his teeth, looked at the two women beside him, and said resolutely, No, Vice Leader, let's fight together. Yes, Vice Leader, we won't run. We want to fight together with you. The Amethyst mercenary group's girls heard Vice Leader Zhao's words and bit their lips with reddened eyes. Stop talking. We will fight together if we can escape. Vice Leader Xiao glanced at them and said sternly, We're the ones holding you back. If you want to escape, then you should be the ones escaping. A girl said with a choked voice. Shut up and obey the order. Deputy Commander Xiao shouted coldly, tightly holding the long saber in his hand. Bang bang bang. At this moment, 3 transcendent level 5 thunderfish crashed heavily into the array formation. The water blue formation shook violently, and the crack in the sky grew bigger and bigger. All the girls in the Amethyst mercenary group looked at the thunderfish in front of them. On the left, 2 level 5 extraordinary thunderfish were walking slowly towards Wang Xian. They were walking in a playful manner and staring at him with a cold gaze. Soon they were 10 meters away from him. Cio cuckoo. The 2 extraordinary level 5 thunderfish looked at each other and sped up abruptly. They pounced directly at Wang Xian. You two are courting death. Wang Xian's entire body was in a mess. He looked extremely miserable. However, it was still very easy for him to deal with some extraordinary level 5 ferocious beasts. He raised his head and looked at the two thunderfish pouncing at him expressionlessly. He slowly raised the lightning strike wood in his hand. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. When the distance between the two of them was only 1 meter, two blue-green spears shot out from the lightning strike wood in Wang Xian's hand. The spears easily penetrated the heads of the two thunderfish. Bang, bang, bang. The two thunderfish landed heavily on the ground. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, an even louder sound came from the side. Wang Xian raised his head and looked over. He saw more than 10 thunderfish attacking the formation at the same time. Crack, crack, crack. The formation surged violently, and the cracks began to expand rapidly. Crack, crack. Another thunderbolt that covered a radius of 1,000 meters landed on the formation. The formation trembled for a moment before it slowly disappeared. Listen to my orders. I and the two captains will defend against them. You guys should escape quickly. The moment the formation was broken, Deputy Captain Xiao, who was standing at the front, and the two women beside him roared loudly. A 2,000-meter-long blade light. A ball of exploding flames. Sand fell from the sky. 3 powerful divine abilities attacked the dozen or so thunderfish. Cuckoo, cuckoo. However, the thunderfish seemed to have been prepared. The 3 rank 6 transcendence bodies lit up, and the scales formed by lightning met the 3 divine abilities. The rest of the thunderfish attacked them. Not good run. When Deputy Commander Xiao saw this situation, a look of despair appeared on his face. He shouted at the girls behind him. Deputy Commander, we want to fight with you. That's right, even if we die we won't run. Behind him, the girls from the mercenary group gritted their teeth and shouted with bloodshot eyes. Crackle! Oh no! There was a sound of thunder and lightning. Deputy Commander Xiao raised his head and immediately raised the long saber in his hand. You can't escape now if you want to. The thunder and lightning landed on the long saber and transmitted to his body, causing him to feel numb and spit out large chunks of black blood. She said with a face full of despair. Roar, roar. Deputy Commander Xiao fell heavily to the ground. The group of thunderfish let out excited roars and quickly attacked them. I'll fight it out with you. The 2 rank 6 extraordinary women saw that Deputy Commander Xiao was injured, and their faces were filled with determination as they faced the 5 rank 6 extraordinary thunderfish. Bang bang. However, in just an instant, the 2 of them were swept to the ground by the tail of the fish and were heavily injured. Sio cuckoo. When the group of thunderfish saw the 3 strongest of them fall to the ground, they let out an excited cry and stopped attacking. They slowly walked forward as if they were looking at their prey. Vice leader. The group of Amethyst mercenary group girls behind them ran to their side with faces full of despair. Cough cough. I hope that we can still be sisters in our next lives. Vice Leader Xiao looked at them and smiled bitterly with a pale face. Vice Leader, it's our fault. We're too weak and dragged you down. A girl cried out. We don't want to be born in the same year and month, but we want to die in the same year and month. We can still be sisters in the next life. The girls from the Amethyst mercenary group said sorrowfully. Around them, a group of thunderfish walked over slowly and were prepared to enjoy a sumptuous dinner. Wang Xian, who was standing at the side, watched quietly. When he saw his mercenary group in despair, he raised his eyebrows slightly. Sigh, how touching. Wang Xian was full of surprise at their performance in the midst of life and death. He hesitated for a moment and said softly. His sudden voice resonated in the surroundings, causing the girls in the Amethyst mercenary group to be completely stunned. Even the group of thunderfish turned their heads to see who was the one who wanted to die, and interrupted their meal. Wang Xian. That freshman, he didn't die. What is he trying to do? If he didn't die, why isn't he running away? The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group looked over and revealed a shocked expression. A tearful little face stared at him with widened eyes. What a touching friendship. When Wang Xian saw them looking over, a faint smile appeared on his face. This made everyone in the Amethyst mercenary group a little dumbfounded. What was he trying to do? Cuckoo! Cuckoo! Palipala! A guy who appeared out of nowhere was showing off in front of them. It was obvious that the group of thunderfish would not let him get away with it. Thunder and lightning instantly attacked Wang Xian. Chapter 990 Worship. Be careful. Qin couldn't help but remind Wang Xian loudly when she saw the thunderfish attacking him. Although this freshman had crippled her younger brother's limbs, he had saved her life just now. She couldn't help but remind him loudly. Wang Xian couldn't help but twitch his lips when he saw a 1-meter-thick thunderbolt heading straight for him. He raised the thunderbolt wood in his hand and met the bolt of lightning. It's over. Seeing Wang Xian holding a wooden stick to meet the bolt of lightning released by an extraordinary level 6 thunderfish, some of the girls in the Amethyst mercenary group even closed their eyes. FUCK, my injuries are really serious. When the bolt of lightning entered the thunderbolt wood, Wang Xian couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His injuries were too severe. He had to spit out a mouthful of fresh blood to receive an attack from an extraordinary level 6 ferocious beast. Moreover, this was under the circumstances where he had the thunderbolt wood as a natural treasure. If he didn't have it, this attack would take half of his life. He caught it. The female students of the Amethyst mercenary group widened their eyes when they saw that Wang Xian had actually caught this thunderbolt. This was an attack released by a transcendent level 6. He could actually receive it so easily. Even their deputy leader didn't dare to receive the attack from a transcendent level 6 thunderfish head-on. However, what shocked them even more was that the new student was actually walking slowly towards the group of thunderfish. Was he crazy? Roar! The group of thunderfish was enraged when they saw Wang Xian catching the lightning bolt and walking towards them. 2 extraordinary level 5 thunderfish moved and attacked him. You're courting death. Wang Xian looked at the group of thunderfish, and the lightning wood in his hand fell heavily onto the ground. At this moment, numerous blue-green vines drilled out from the ground. The vines covered all the thunderfish within. The vines were like poisonous snakes as they pierced through the thunderfish one by one. Poo poo poo. Gugga gugga gugga. The 2 thunderfish that were attacking him were pierced through by the vines and were killed instantly. The sound of the thunderfish being pierced and their screams could be heard from the back. Hiss! Wang Xian mobilized the energy in his body and blood flowed out from his mouth again. Bang bang bang. Everyone in the Amethyst mercenary group was stunned. This included Vice Leader Xiao and the 2 team leaders who were at Transcendent Level 6. What did they see? One move. He easily placed a wooden stick on the ground with his arm, and a large number of thunderfish were killed or injured. How could his strength be so terrifying? Cuckoo! At this moment, a series of angry voices were heard. Everyone looked over hurriedly, with an embarrassed expression on their faces. 3 level 6 extraordinary thunderfish were not hit in their vitals. When the 3 thunderfish saw that their comrades were killed, and that there was a long wound on their body, their eyes turned red. Cuckoo! The 3 level 6 extraordinary thunderfish roared loudly. Their voices reverberated within a radius of a few thousand meters. Their bodies were emitting blue lightning rays. This is really troublesome. Wang Xian's face turned a little black. He pointed at the thunderstruck wood with his hand. Whoosh! 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 Before the lightning was released, 3 wooden spears that were 10 meters long attacked them. On the wooden spears, the glow of lightning was flickering. Wang Xian did not have the lightning attribute. Everything was due to the powerful effect of the thunderstruck wood. The wooden spear was extremely terrifying. The members of the Amethyst mercenary group saw a shadow closely. Roar! 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 In less than a second, they heard the screams of the last 3 thunderfish. Everyone widened their eyes. Wang Xian staggered and almost fell to the ground. He quickly used the lightning wood to support himself. Some of the wounds on his body were bleeding. When the members of the Amethyst mercenary group saw that Wang Xian almost fell to the ground, they were alarmed. He is so strong. With such serious injuries on his body, he was actually able to kill a level 6 extraordinary thunderfish in one hit. A female student mumbled as her eyes were filled with disbelief. The rest of the female students were also in a daze. The person in front of them was a freshman from the Demon Hunters Academy. Furthermore, he was an extremely arrogant freshman in their eyes. Furthermore, when he first came to the Thunder Island, a few girls were prepared to teach him a lesson. Now that they saw this scene, teach him a lesson, they finally knew that he had told them that this was their wise choice back then. If they had really wanted to teach him a lesson back then, they would have been killed instantly. He was the one who saved us. His strength is at least at transcendent level 7. He isn't arrogant at all. With his strength, if he were to be arrogant. A girl mumbled. She looked at Wang Xian, who was heavily injured. Instead, a hint of admiration appeared in her eyes. Thank you for saving us. Deputy Captain Xiao endured the pain in her body and stood up slowly. She thanked Wang Xian. Her expression was complicated. She was a little dazed when she saw a freshman who had killed more than a dozen ferocious beasts that almost killed them in an instant despite his serious injuries. Wang Xian waved his hand and sat cross-legged on the ground. He placed the lightning strike wood on his leg and began to heal his injuries quickly. Thank you for saving us. The rest of the girls also spoke to Wang Xian respectfully with complicated expressions. Some of the girls sized up Wang Xian, and a hint of admiration gradually appeared in their eyes. He's so strong. It's unbelievable that a new student could be so strong. It's all thanks to him today. Yeah, he saved us even when he was heavily injured. I'm touched. He's such a good man. I even mocked him not long ago. I'm really blind. I regret it so much. I'll apologize to him later. Yeah, we even said that he was arrogant. With his strength, there's no need for him to be arrogant at all. He can be considered very low-key. Look at him. Did you notice that he's very handsome? I don't know how he got injured so badly. The group of girls looked at Wang Xian without concealing their eyes. Their faces were filled with regret, admiration and admiration. Qing Qing also looked at Wang Xian in a daze. She didn't expect that the person who crippled her younger brother's limbs was actually a terrifying powerhouse, who was at least at transcendent level 7. Recalling her younger brother's provocation back then, she smiled bitterly. It was already good enough that she didn't kill her younger brother after offending such a situation. When he recovers, we have to thank him properly. Deputy Captain Tang whispered to the group of girls beside him. Everyone in the Amethyst mercenary group nodded and began to treat their wounds. Their eyes would occasionally look at Wang Xian, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground. Deputy Leader Xiao, do you still need help if you encounter any danger? At this moment a voice was heard. Following that, they saw the group from the Young Master's mercenary group arriving. Chapter 991. He Must Die. A group of 20 people with 3 special lines on their faces walked in the center. Their voices rang out in the surroundings. One by one, they flew down from the sky and scanned their surroundings. Deputy Commander Xiao, your luck is a little bad this time. You actually encountered so many powerful thunderfish. Yun Hanhai looked at Deputy Leader Xiao, who was treating his wounds, and asked in surprise. Yes. When Deputy Leader Xiao saw them arriving, he swept his gaze across Wang Xian. Suddenly, he frowned and nodded his head slowly. We encountered some danger just now. We don't need your help now. You guys can go back to your work. Thank you. Deputy Leader Zhao's eyes flickered as he asked. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group looked at each other when they saw them. They glanced at Wang Xian, who was at the side, and thought to themselves, this is not good. Yes, we have settled everything. Thank you, Deputy Leader Yin, for coming to help us. There's no need for that now. Let us recuperate for a while. You guys can go on with your work. Yes, yes. Thank you, young master, for coming to help us. A few girls hurriedly said to Yin Hanhai and the others. Vice Regiment Commander Xiao, what kind of danger have you encountered? At this moment, another voice came from afar. Following that, more than 10 people rushed over from not far away. Vice Regiment Commander Xiao frowned slightly. It's fine. Sorry for disturbing everyone. You guys go back to your work. It's fine, it's fine. The 10 or so youths who came shook their heads and looked at the young master's mercenary group at the side. They hurriedly said, Deputy Regiment Commander Yin, you're here too. Yin Hanhai nodded. I saw the Amethyst mercenary group calling for help, so I came. Oh right, did you guys see that newborn kid? Yin Hanhai asked the group of mercenary group members. No. If we meet him, we will definitely tell Deputy Leader Yin. The leader of the group of mercenaries said hurriedly. Yin Hanhai nodded his head indifferently and said coldly, he's just a kid. He's hiding very well. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group frowned when they heard Yin Hanhai's words. Their eyes would glance at Wang Xian from time to time. At this moment, Wang Xian's entire body was in tatters. There were wounds all over his body. Therefore, he was not discovered for the time being. However, if one were to take a closer look, they would definitely realize that he was the person they were looking for. Currently, although Wang Xian's strength was abnormally strong, he was severely injured. When he attacked just now, he almost fell down. He had already reached his limit. If he was discovered by the people in the young master's mercenary group at this moment, it would be troublesome. All right. Yin Hanhai nodded his head and looked at Deputy Chief Xiao. If the Amethyst mercenary group encounters that kid, please inform Deputy Chief Xiao. Sure. Deputy Chief Xiao nodded his head perfunctorily. That. Suddenly, one of the members of the mercenary group at the side looked at Wang Xian with a surprised expression. Isn't that the new Wang Xian? He pointed his finger over and asked with an astonished expression. Ah! The members of the young master's mercenary group and the people beside him were slightly stunned as they looked over with an astonished expression. Yin Hanhai squinted his eyes slightly as he looked at Wang Xian, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground. He didn't notice when he saw a few members of the Amethyst mercenary group who were severely injured and recovering while sitting cross-legged on the ground. Now it seemed like, Wang Xian, Deputy Leader Xiao, you guys are a little unscrupulous. You are clearly here, yet you didn't tell us. Yin Hanhai glanced at her and slowly waved at the person beside him. That's right, Deputy Leader Xiao. This kid has repeatedly embarrassed our young master's mercenary group. Moreover, we have already announced that we are going to deal with this kid. If we let him escape this time, our young master's mercenary group will be greatly embarrassed. A young man beside Yin Hanhai walked out and said to Deputy Leader Xiao with a smile on his face. Wow! As he said that, he pulled out the long sword in his hand and stared at Wang Xian coldly. A teasing look appeared on his face as he said, Hey kid, wake up. Wang Xian sensed the people from the young master's mercenary group. He frowned slightly and ignored them. Just as the Amethyst mercenary group had guessed, the 3 attacks earlier had drained all his strength. Now he had to recover. In just a few minutes, he would be able to fight for about 10 seconds. He looks like your injuries are not light. TSK, I think there's no need for you to suffer so much. Let us send you to hell. When the young man saw that Wang Xian did not respond, he held his long sword and spoke mockingly as he walked over. Stop. Qing and the other 7 or 8 girls who were not injured stood up immediately and shouted at the young man. They moved and immediately came in front of them to block him. Ha! The young man was slightly stunned. He turned around and looked at Yin Hanhai. Deputy Commander Xiao, what's going on? You didn't tell us that kid was with you just now, so why are you stopping us now? Yin Hanhai's eyes flickered. Doesn't this kid have a grudge with you? Deputy Commander Yin, this friend just saved our lives, so we naturally have to protect him. Deputy Commander Zhao's face was slightly pale as he stood up and said to Yin Hanhai, "Deputy Captain Xiao, what do you mean by this?" Yin Hanhai's face turned cold slowly. "You want to protect this kid? He saved our lives. Naturally, we have to protect our benefactor." Deputy Captain Xiao stared at Yin Hanhai expressionlessly. "Deputy Captain Xiao, you have to know that this kid is someone that our young master must kill. He must die. No one can stop him." Yin Hanhai stared at her coldly and walked slowly towards Wang Xian. The people beside him immediately followed behind. "He provoked our young master's mercenary group. No matter who he is, he must die." A middle-aged powerhouse beside Yin Hanhai swept a cold glance at the members of the Amethyst mercenary group and said coldly, "Young master's mercenary group. Don't tell me you want to go against our Amethyst mercenary group?" Vice Commander Xiao also walked over with an embarrassed expression and confronted them. "You want to go against our young master's mercenary group because of a kid?" Yin Hanhai's expression immediately darkened as he coldly said. Vice Commander Xiao and the others didn't say anything. However, they stood in front of him and said everything. "He must die, Xiao Yuanyuan. All of you are already injured. You can't stop us." Yin Hanhai said with a cold face. "We will protect him today. Don't even think about hurting him." Deputy Commander Xiao pulled out the long saber in his hand and said with a determined face. The girls of the Amethyst mercenary group also took out their weapons and stared at Yin Hanhai and the others angrily. Chapter 992. Get out of the way. I'll kill them first. Wang Xian was their savior. If Wang Xian didn't save them earlier, they would be dead by now. As for their savior, they couldn't possibly watch the members of the young master's mercenary group kill him. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group stared at Yin Hanhai and the rest with hostility. They didn't show any signs of weakness. Yin Hanhai's face instantly darkened when he saw them pull out their weapons. "You guys don't have a grudge against this kid, right? Now for his sake, you guys are actually going against us." He clenched his fists tightly and said in a cold voice, "Give our Amethyst mercenary group some face." Deputy Commander Xiao said with a gloomy face. They also didn't want to become enemies with Young Master's mercenary group. All the members of Young Master's mercenary group had extraordinary backgrounds. It was definitely not a wise choice to make an enemy out of them. Even though they were the third-ranked mercenary group in the Demon Hunter College, they didn't dare to provoke them easily. "I'll give you face, but this kid won't give us face." Yin Hanhai sneered. With a move of his arm, a long sword appeared in his hand. His gaze swept over Vice Commander Xiao and the others, carrying a trace of killing intent. "You are already injured. You are no match for us now. Don't force us into a corner." Clang, clang, clang. Behind him, the group of Young Master's mercenary group members directly pulled out their weapons. Especially those middle-aged men. Their bodies were filled with killing intent as they coldly stared at the Amethyst mercenary group members. "We will not take a step back," Vice Commander Xiao said with a resolute expression. "Good, good." Yin Hanhai's expression changed slightly as he looked to the side. "Lu Zisher, kill this brat for me. In the future, there will be benefits for all of you." "Oh," the group of youths from the Zhanhai mercenary group, who were standing at the side and watching the situation, suddenly froze when they heard Yin Hanhai's words. The expression of the youth in the lead changed slightly. "Vice Commander Yin, are we in or out?" Yin Hanhai's sharp gaze looked over. That youth's leader revealed a hesitant expression. "You dare? Zhanhai mercenary group, if you dare to make a move, you'll be making an enemy out of our Amethyst mercenary group." Vice Commander Xiao looked over and coldly said, "I will take care of the financial mercenary group for you." Yin Hanhai revealed a smile as he stared at Vice Commander Xiao and the others. "As long as one of you dares to protect that brat, my young master's mercenary group will kill anyone. I, Yin Hanhai, will definitely do what I say." Hearing his words, the faces of the Amethyst mercenary group instantly turned ugly. The young leader of the Zhanhai mercenary group had a drastic change of expression as he looked at his companions. All right, Vice Leader Yin, we will listen to your orders. In the end, the young man gritted his teeth and said loudly, all right, don't worry. I will definitely reward all of you in the future. Yin Hanhai revealed a smile and laughed out loud. Yes, it's Vice Captain Yin. The group of young men nodded with smiles on their faces. They looked at Wang Xian, who was behind the Amethyst mercenary group with a hint of killing intent in their eyes. Kid, if you want to blame someone, blame yourself for offending the young master's mercenary group and Vice Captain Yin and the rest. You're the one who's courting death. You can't blame anyone else. As they spoke, they slowly walked towards Wang Xian. The Amethyst mercenary group stared at them coldly. However, they were not afraid. Although the Amethyst mercenary group was ranked higher than the young master's mercenary group, the young master's mercenary group was even more terrifying. Between these two mercenary groups, they knew what to choose. All right. Just you wait and see, Zhanhai's mercenary group. A girl stared at them angrily. Whoever dares to stop Zhanhai's friends will be killed. Yin Hanhai glanced at the girl and ordered the people beside him. Yes, Vice Leader. A dozen middle-aged men nodded heavily. They held their weapons and glared at the members of the Amethyst mercenary group with killing intent. They had no doubt that these people would attack them. The members of the Amethyst mercenary group, who were already severely injured, were no match for them. This made the girls bite their lips tightly and stare at the Zhanhai mercenary group with murderous intent. The young men of the Zhanhai mercenary group ignored them and walked towards Wang Xian, who was sitting cross-legged on the ground, with their weapons in hand. Deputy Leader, what should we do? Qing looked worried when she saw them walking towards Wang Xian. She asked anxiously. Deputy Leader Xiao was also extremely embarrassed. His expression kept changing. Hee. A smile appeared on Yin Hanhai's face. He stood there arrogantly and said loudly, how dare you offend our young master's mercenary group? Forget about the purple crystal. Even if the Tiger Lion mercenary group wanted to protect him, they wouldn't be able to do so. Hurry up and make your move. He snorted coldly, and the young men from the Zhanhai mercenary group quickened their pace. The faces of the Amethyst mercenary group turned pale. They held their weapons tightly and were ready to make their move at any time. Phew, get out of the way. At this moment, Wang Xian opened his eyes slowly and said to the group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group in front of him, you're awake. All the girls turned their heads immediately. When they saw Wang Xian standing up, they were pleasantly surprised. Student Wang, the injuries on your body. Qing walked over hurriedly and wanted to reach out to help him up. However, when she saw that Wang Xian had already stood up, she said helplessly, it will take a few more days for you to recover. However, you can make your move now. While they were confronting each other, Wang Xian had already recovered a little of his energy. He smiled and said again, get out of the way first. I'll kill them first. The members of the Amethyst mercenary group felt a chill in their hearts. One by one, the girls quickly made way for them. Kill us. Kid, are you out of your mind? When Yin Hanhai saw the members of the Amethyst mercenary group making way for them, he raised his head slightly and said with a smile on his face, the members of your young master's mercenary group are really courting death. Wang Xian slowly picked up the lightning strike wood. There was a bluish-green glow on it as he gently placed it on the ground. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. What? If you dare to attack, kill him. When the lightning strike wood landed on the ground, numerous thorns that were accompanied by lightning instantly emerged from the ground and attacked the members of the young master's mercenary group. When Yin Hanhai saw that Wang Xian still dared to attack, his eyes were filled with killing intent. However, at this moment, a thorn pierced through the body of the middle-aged man, who was a level 6 transcendent. This stunned Yin Hanhai instantly. Aha! The screams of the level 6 transcendent were just the beginning. Later on, the members of the young master's mercenary group were killed instantly, without any strength to resist. Yin Hanhai's face was filled with shock. His body trembled, and the armor on his body emitted a blazing flame. Everyone in the young master's mercenary group and the Zhanhai mercenary group were stunned. Chapter 993 was terrified. Bang bang bang. An intense sound rang out as the terrifying thorns landed on Yin Hanhai's body, producing an ear-piercing sound. However, compared to the attacks on his body, the surrounding sounds were even more terrifying. The miserable cries caused Yin Hanhai's entire body to go numb. The Zhanhai mercenary group at the side looked at this scene in a daze. Slaughter. It was a simple slaughter. Many thorns crawled out from the ground, attacking the young master's group. Other than Yin Hanhai, who had a Type 7 transcendent armor to defend against the thorns, the rest of the 19 were not so lucky. Even the 2 Type 6 experts were pierced through by the thorns. They couldn't put up any resistance at all. This made them feel exceptionally terrifying. They looked at the miserable-looking young man and couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. Their hearts were filled with fear. He was able to unleash terrifying attacks with such serious injuries. If he was at his peak, wouldn't he be able to insta-kill them even more easily? If Wang Xian's attack made the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group feel fearful. At this moment, Yin Hanhai's body began to tremble violently. He was wearing the life-saving armor given to him by his father. It was a level 7 extraordinary flame armor. However, Yin Hanhai's body was trembling slightly as he felt the strength of the thorns landing on his body. His body was emitting a scorching heat, as though his entire body was wrapped in lava. His eyes were trembling nonstop. Bang bang bang. 5 seconds later, the screams came to an abrupt end. One by one the corpses fell to the ground. How is this possible? How can he be so strong? This is impossible. Yin Hanhai mumbled as he looked at Wang Xian, who was standing more than 10 meters away in disbelief. Wang Xian looked at him as well. There was no emotion on his face. An armor of transcendent level 7. He is really rich. He smiled and slowly raised the lightning strike wood in his hand. Seeing that he was about to attack again, Yin Hanhai widened his eyes and was filled with panic. No, don't kill me. I'm in the wrong. Don't kill me. Yin Hanhai pleaded with Wang Xian. Kneel down, Wang Xian said to him indifferently. Yin Hanhai's expression changed drastically. Following that, he knelt on the ground with a thud. I beg you, please don't kill me. Our young master's mercenary group will never dare to provoke you again. Give me a chance. I'll give you spirit stones. I'll give you as many as you want. Yin Hanhai's eyes were slightly red as he cried at Wang Xian. He no longer had the arrogance from before. The Amethyst mercenary group at the side looked at Yin Hanhai kneeling and begging for mercy with a complicated expression. This was the deputy leader of the young master's mercenary group, the famous young master Yin in the Demon Hunters Academy. However, he was now kneeling down and begging for mercy in front of a new student. If the students in the Demon Hunters Academy were to know about this, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. The flaw is out. Wang Xian looked at Yin Hanhai kneeling on the ground. A smile appeared on his face as he moved the lightning strike wood in his hand. A thorn came out from the ground and pierced through Yin Hanhai's body in an instant. As for where it came from, it was hard to describe. A broken chrysanthemum. Yin Hanhai widened his eyes. His eyes were filled with despair and unwillingness. The girls from the Amethyst mercenary group and the young men from the Zhanhai mercenary group revealed a hint of fear in their eyes. He had actually killed Yin Hanhai. This was the most outstanding disciple of the Yin family in Donghai City, the deputy leader of the young master's mercenary group. If the Yin family found out about this, how could they let him off? Phew! Wang Xian exhaled heavily and turned his head to look at the people of the Zhanhai mercenary group. The leader of the Zhanhai mercenary group and the young men trembled when they saw him looking over. Student Wang, young master Wang, we were forced just now. Please, leader. Before he could finish his sentence, Jian, and the rest suddenly appeared. When they saw Wang Xian, they immediately flew over. The arrival of Jian and the rest interrupted the conversation of the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group. With outsiders around, they all addressed Wang Xian as their leader. Wang Xian looked at Jian and sensed the group of strange monsters around them. A smile appeared on his face. "Kill them." He pointed at the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group and said calmly. "It's the leader." Jian and the rest nodded. Without any pause, they charged towards the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group. "Leader Wang." The faces of the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group changed drastically. They shouted at Wang Xian with an embarrassed look on their faces, as they hurriedly blocked the attacks of Jian and the rest. However, their strength was at least at level 5 of the supernatural realm. Some of them were even at level 4 of the supernatural realm. They were no match for Jian and the rest. Very soon, the screams of the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group could be heard. Wang Xian ignored them. If he wanted to kill them, he had to be prepared to be killed. Even if they were students of the Demon Hunters Academy. Wang Xian took a look at the members of the Amethyst mercenary group and sat cross-legged on the ground to continue recovering from his injuries. The group of girls from the Amethyst mercenary group felt a chill down their spines when they saw the corpses on the ground. The Young Masters mercenary group consisted of 20 people, while the Zhanhai mercenary group consisted of more than 10 people. All of them were elite students of the Demon Hunters Academy, however they were killed by that freshman. The group of girls looked at each other, their eyes filled with complicated emotions. If they had targeted him back then, would they have ended up like Young Masters mercenary group and Zhanhai's mercenary group? But now no matter what, he was their savior. "Gentlemen, please tell Commander Wang after he wakes up. We will definitely repay his kindness today." The Yun family is a famous family in Donghai City. Everyone in the Demon Hunters Academy knows that Yun Hanhai has come to Thunder Island to kill Commander Wang. Therefore, tell him to be careful. We will take our leave first. The group of girls stood there and hesitated for a while. Then, Deputy Commander Xiao said to Jian and the rest who were standing around Wang Xian. "All right." Jian nodded at her. Deputy Chief Xiao waved his hand at the group of girls beside him. He came to a spot not far away and sat down to recuperate as well. The injuries this time are really serious. After more than 10 hours, Wang Xian woke up. Looking at the wounds on his body that had already recovered, a smile appeared on his face. Lightning Wood, first level Void Interpretation. A wood-attributed Void Interpretation item with the lightning attribute. It contained a strong vitality. A treasure of the Void Seeing level with what attribute can continue to grow and evolve on the ancestral tree. However, it is a good choice to use it as my weapon now. Wang Xian looked at the thunderstruck wood and stood up slowly. After more than 10 hours, Wang Xian's injuries had mostly recovered due to his strong recovery ability and the vitality in the thunderstruck wood. "Ao Yao, have you killed all the thunderfish on the mountain peak?" Chapter 994. Returned with a full load. "Dragon King, we have killed all of them. We have obtained a total of 8 extraordinary level 8 thunderfish bodies and 7 extraordinary level 8 thunderfruits. We came back directly because we were worried about your safety, Dragon King." Ao Yao said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian nodded his head and looked at the main peak. "Let's go up and hunt the remaining thunderfish for the thunderfruits." "It's the Dragon King." Ao Yao, Jian, and the rest nodded their heads and followed Wang Xian towards the main peak. This time, Wang Xian did not have any scruples. He activated the Light Dark Fire Dragon Eye technique and flew towards the main peak. All the creatures in the mountain peak were within his sight. Once he noticed them, he pointed with his arm, and the group of strange demons attacked. The top-grade thunderfish on the main peak had been killed. It was no exaggeration to say that they were able to move unhindered across the entire Thunder Island. The main peak had the most treasures on the Thunder Island. Although the thunder fruits were precious, Wang Xian managed to obtain 7 to 8 of them in just 10 minutes. The main peak occupied an area of about 2,000 meters. Wang Xian and the rest used 5 hours to sweep through it. All the thunder fish on it were killed by Wang Xian and the rest, and almost all the thunder fruits were obtained by them. Bang! 5 hours later, Wang Xian landed below the main peak. He checked the rewards in his interspatial ring, and was very satisfied. There were 8 thunderfish corpses of level 8 transcendence. There were 23 thunderfish corpses of level 7 transcendence. There were 55 thunderfish corpses of level 6 transcendence. In addition, there were 7 thunderfruits at transcendent level 8. There were 19 thunderfruits at transcendent level 7. There were 28 thunderfruits at transcendent level 6. There were 45 thunderfish corpses at transcendent level 5. Other than that, there were also the corpses of the young master's mercenary group, and the members of the Zhanhai mercenary group. In their interspatial rings, Wang Xian had obtained a total of more than 30 million spirit stones. The flame armor at transcendent level 7 from Yunhanhai was worth more than 20 million middle-grade spirit stones. The harvest this time could increase Wang Xian by at least 300,000 dragon crystals. It was a huge harvest. 300,000 dragon crystals can increase all my subordinates to transcendent level 5. Wang Xian calculated in his heart. Ao Jian and the rest could be comparable to a transcendent level 6 when they were promoted to transcendent level 5. When a group of strange demons were promoted to level 5, they could be comparable to a transcendent level 7. 20 strange demons, that were equivalent to level 7 of the supernatural realm, were considered the best in the East Sea City. Not to mention, there was also Ao Yao. Let's go back. Wang Xian hesitated for a moment before making a decision. Since he had obtained all the main treasures on the Thunder Island, Wang Xian did not plan to continue searching around. He moved his body and immediately flew out. Ao Yao and the rest followed behind him. After flying out of the Thunder Island, the surrounding sky was extremely oppressive. Thick black clouds were in the sky. They did not fly far before a rainstorm started to fall from the sky. Raindrops the size of a fist fell into the sea. It looked like the end of the world. What a heavy rain! Wang Xian looked at the rainstorm that was falling from the sky, and raised his head to take a look. According to the records, it is the most dangerous when there is a thunderstorm. It is best not to fly in the sky. Wang Xian thought to himself. He increased his speed and flew forward. Chirp chirp. Is there a battle over there? At this moment, Wang Xian looked to his right and narrowed his eyes slightly. According to the records, ferocious beasts were the most active when there was a thunderstorm. It's the cloud clams, a kind of ferocious beast that lives in the dark clouds. This group of people is in trouble. Wang Xian looked over and saw 4 to 5 figures falling into the sea. They were severely injured. Brother, help! Help us! At this moment, a figure ran over in a panic and cried out for help in fear. Chirp chirp! A sharp sound rang out. It was a 3-meter-long creature with a very long neck. Its entire body was covered with black wings as it flew towards Wang Xian and the rest. Their eyes were blood red, and they were extremely bloodthirsty. A bunch of cloud clams with level 6 transcendence. If you can't handle them, you should run away quickly. The young man who was running towards them reminded them in horror. Level 6 transcendence. Wang Xian looked over. This young man was kind enough to inform them in advance. The feathers on the cloud clams occupy 80% of their body. Their feathers are very precious and of high value. Wang Xian had an idea. He gestured to Ao Jian and the rest and flew over immediately. Chirp! Chirp! The young man was dodging the attacks of the 2 cloud clams. He didn't even have the strength to dodge the storm. He looked extremely pathetic. When he saw Wang Xian and the rest flying towards him, he revealed an excited expression. Thank you for saving us, brother. Wang Xian took a glance at the young man and waved the lightning wood in his hand. A wooden spike instantly entered the body of the cloud toad. However, this wooden spike actually penetrated through the thick feathers. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. His eyes flickered with a demonic glow as he waved his arm again. Chirp chirp. Two miserable cries rang out. A golden swordfish flew over and kept it into his interspatial ring. Brother, thank you. Thank you, brother. The young man was stunned when he saw Wang Xian's attack. Then, he said with a face full of gratitude. Okay. Wang Xian nodded his head faintly and looked ahead. There were more than 10 young men who were entangled by the cloud clams. Wang Xian moved his body, and the lightning wood in his hand emitted a dazzling light. The wooden thorns pierced through the clams one by one. A group of supernatural level 6 ferocious beasts fell into the sea one by one in an instant. The golden swordfish, who was prepared, kept the dead bodies into his interspatial ring. Spirit enchantment. Wang Xian felt a burst of energy from his body. The special energy from Fu Changshu entered the lightning wood directly, and he waved his arm. This lightning strike would seem to have a life of its own, as it attacked the last few cloud clams in the sky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The void interpretation level lightning strike would instantly penetrated the vital parts of the cloud clams one by one. The dozen young men who were attacked by the cloud clams were stunned. A hint of shock could be seen in their eyes. Thank you, Senior, for saving us. Thank you, Senior. Our Void Beast Demon Hunting Group is grateful for your kindness in saving us. The group of young men came to their senses. They quickly bowed and said to Wang Xian. Wang Xian glanced at them and ignored them. He looked at the black clouds in the sky with a smile in his eyes. Let's go. He shouted softly and dashed into the clouds. What? Senior, be careful. That's the cloud clam's lair. This senior is so young and his strength is so terrifying. He killed the cloud clam who was at transcendent level 6 in one move. It's too terrifying. He must be at least at transcendent level 8. Phew, our luck is really good. Let's go to the sea and check on Hey Hu and the rest. I hope they are alright. More than 10 young men were still in shock as they watched Wang Xian and the rest dash into the dark clouds. Chapter 995. At the banquet. The cloud clam was a fierce beast unique to the thunderstorm area. They lived in the black clouds. This kind of fierce beast was unusually rare. They would only come out of the black clouds when there was a rainstorm. The feathers on this kind of fierce beast were very precious in Eastern Sea City. The value of a cloud clam was comparable to 2 fierce beasts of the same level. The reason was its feathers. This kind of black feather could allow people to swim freely under the sea, and it also had a powerful defense. The equipment made by the cloud clam was very valuable in East Sea City. Once it appeared, it would be quickly snatched away. In the records of the thunderstorm area, the cloud clam was very rare. This time, the aerial beast mercenary group had to go through many investigations to find the location where the cloud clam was gathered. However, what they didn't expect was that the cloud clams in this nest were too strong. Wang Xian rushed into the dark clouds and discovered that there were more than 20 cloud clams inside. Among them, there were 3 of them who were at transcendent level 7. Not bad again. Wang Xian was full of smiles as the group of strange demons started to move quickly. Wang Xian held the lightning strike wood in his hand and also attacked the cloud clams one by one. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Urgent cries came from the dark clouds. In less than 10 minutes, all the cloud clams were killed by them. After storing them into his interspatial ring, Wang Xian searched the surroundings. After confirming that there were no cloud clams in the surroundings, he dared to return. After more than an hour, Wang Xian and the rest returned to Donghai City. Looking at the mercenary groups and chambers of commerce that were coming and going in the surroundings, Wang Xian took out his communication stone plate and sent a message to Supervisor E of Donghai City's Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop. Very soon, after receiving a reply, Wang Xian immediately walked towards the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop. In Donghai City, the Fengxian Elixir and Weapons Workshop had 4 shops. There was a shop next to the Demon Hunters Academy in the Eastern District. Wang Xian knew the location of Fengxian and walked straight into the shop. The shop took up a total of 7 to 8 rooms and looked very luxurious. However, there wasn't a single customer in the shop. Captain Wang. When Wang Xian walked in, Supervisor Yi came up to him directly. Under the astonished gaze of the waiters in the shop, he was led to the VIP area. Captain Wang, you've been here for a few days, right? Is there anything we can help you with? Supervisor Yi poured a cup of tea for Wang Xian enthusiastically and asked with a smile. Buy some elixirs. Wang Xian smiled and said directly. Leader Wang, tell me how many elixirs you need. I'll get someone to prepare them immediately. Supervisor Yi looked at Wang Xian with anticipation. Yes, 180 million middle-grade spirit stones. Wang Xian took out a few interspatial rings directly. 180 million spirit stones. This was the reward for the dragon spike assassination, as well as the rewards he obtained in the past 2 days. Director Yi was stunned for a moment before a look of joy appeared on his face. Good. Leader Wang, I'll get someone to prepare it immediately. Oh right, Director Yi. Do you accept the corpses of the ferocious beasts here? Wang Xian asked. He had quite a number of the corpses of the ferocious beasts in his hands. These corpses were already dead, so devouring them would not be able to increase the dragon energy. The dragon pond in the dragon palace was too far away from this place, so he could only sell them temporarily. The carcasses of ferocious beasts? Take them. If Leader Wang wants to sell them, we will purchase them at the market price. Supervisor Yi said directly. Alright, take a look. Wang Xian took out more than 10 interspatial rings and said to her. Interspatial rings were still very precious on the Transcendence continent. A 10 cubic meter interspatial ring costs 1 million middle-grade spirit stones. Many extraordinary experts had interspatial rings that were around 1 cubic meter. However, these interspatial rings were all obtained from Earth. He had a total of more than 100. Among them, there were 7 or 8 interspatial rings that were 100 square meters in size. It was more than enough to hold a group of fierce beast corpses. Supervisor Yi suddenly widened his eyes. 8 corpses of a level 8 supernatural realm killer. These were level 8 supernatural realm beasts. In Donghai City, there were no more than 5 mercenary groups that could hunt level 8 supernatural realm beasts. Cloud Toad. Her eyes sparkled. Leader Wang, the corpses of your beasts are worth 300 to 400 million middle-grade spirit stones. Do you want them? Wang Xian asked. Yes, of course I want them. Manager Yi quickly said. Leader Wang, do you want to exchange them for medicinal pills? All of them. Alright, the price we offer will definitely satisfy Leader Wang. Manager Yi said with excitement in his eyes. A single transaction was worth 500 to 600 million middle-grade spirit stones. Even if it was a year's worth of transactions from the 4 shops in East Sea City, it would only be this amount. Leader Wang, after a period of time, some of the higher-ups of our Fengxian Guild will come to the East Sea City. At that time, our Fengxian Guild will hold an auction. I wonder if Leader Wang is interested? Supervisor Yi called the shopkeeper over and instructed him to prepare the elixirs. Then he spoke to Wang Xian. We'll see when the time comes. Wang Xian thought for a moment and said, Alright, I'll contact Captain Wang when the time comes. Supervisor Yi nodded his head. Under Supervisor Yi's enthusiasm, Wang Xian left the Phoenix Elixir and Weapons Workshop and headed straight for his residence. Supervisor Yi's eyes sparkled as he watched Wang Xian's back. To think that he was able to hunt and kill a ferocious beast of extraordinary 8th level. This Phoenix Immortal Mercenary group is really mysterious and unpredictable. They are able to take out so many spirit stones every time. I really don't know how he got them. She muttered. Hey, what's wrong with Supervisor Yi? It's not easy for a customer to enter your shop to buy things. Are you very reluctant? Haha, can you earn a few hundred spirit stones today? At this moment, a mocking voice came from the side. Supervisor Yi looked over and saw the shopkeeper of the Life and Death Pill Workshop looking at him mockingly. "Humph." Supervisor E sneered, and turned around to walk into the shop. "Hee hee, I heard that your Phoenix Immortal will hold a large-scale auction in a month's time. At that time, we and the Holy Item Forging Workshop will also hold one." At this moment, the shopkeeper of the Life and Death Pill Workshop's voice sounded again. This caused Supervisor E to be stunned. His eyes revealed a grave expression as he walked into the shop uneasily. "Ehe Feng Xian, you want to make an enemy out of our Life and Death Pill Workshop and the Holy Item Forging Workshop? You're courting death. Just wait and see. It won't be long before you close down." The shopkeeper of the Life and Death Pill Workshop muttered coldly. Wang Xian returned to his residence and immediately took out all the pills. There were more than 500 million spirit stones worth of pills than he had expected. It could increase the strength of the group of Dragon Palace members by at least 400,000 dragon crystals. The strength of the group of Dragon Palace members would be greatly enhanced. Wang Xian swallowed the pills one by one and began to increase the strength of the golden swordfish and the strange demon. 400,000 dragon crystals was a terrifying amount of energy. It was enough for them to undergo another huge improvement. After Wang Xian had used up all the dragon crystals, the 11 golden swordfish had all reached Transcendence Level 5. 19 strange demons had also reached Transcendence Level 5, and one had reached Transcendence Level 6. Invincible Divine Dragon's Cultivation System. Chapter 996 At the Banquet. In the next few days, Wang Xian made a trip to the Demon Hunter Academy. After he handed in a Level 5 Extraordinary Thunder Fruit as a mission, the 1-star gold grade mission was considered to be completed. As for the other Thunder Fruits, they were consumed by Wang Xian to upgrade the Level 6 Extraordinary Demon. It could also be considered to make up for the lack of Level 8 Extraordinary Combat Strength. After a period of improvement, Wang Xian, who had a fortune of billions, became poor again. In the past few days, Wang Xian did not go to the academy after a day of lessons. With his strength, he would not be able to learn anything in there. 3 to 4 days passed in a row. In the past 2 days, there was a rather sensational news on the Demon Hunter Academy's forum. Yin Hanhai has yet to return to Thunder Island with Young Master's mercenary group. Yin Hanhai and the members of Young Master's mercenary group are currently unable to contact any information. The 2 pieces of news started to spread 2 days ago, and at the beginning, not many people paid attention to it. Going out to do anything and not returning, it was normal for them to be unable to contact each other. However, 2 days had passed, and these 2 pieces of news gradually caused many people to guess. Some people even said that the members of the Young Master's mercenary group were currently asking the mercenary group that went to the Thunder Island for a mission if they had seen Yin Hanhai and the rest. The moment this news was released, it caused many people to be shocked. Yin Hanhai and the Young Master's mercenary group went to the Thunder Island to kill the new student Wang Xian. I heard from Wang Xian's classmates that he has already returned. Why hasn't Yin Hanhai and the rest returned yet? I saw the members of the Yin family heading to the Young Master's mercenary group yesterday. Could it be that something has really happened to Yin Hanhai? Could this matter be related to Wang Xian? Yin Hanhai and the rest went to kill Wang Xian. Now that Wang Xian is fine, they have disappeared. Everyone in the Demon Hunters Academy was discussing in astonishment. However, following that, many people dismissed this idea. With the strength of that freshman Wang Xian, even if Yin Hanhai were to stand there and let him fight, he wouldn't be able to kill him with the equipment on his body. That's right. I heard that the Young Master's mercenary group sent 3 Level 6 extraordinary experts and a group of Level 5 extraordinary experts. It's impossible for this freshman to kill them. When they went to the Thunder Island, all the experts from the Amethyst mercenary group were injured and returned. Could it be that the Young Master's mercenary group also met with misfortune? It's very possible. Even Deputy Leader Xiao was injured badly. I heard that they almost didn't make it back. Yun Hanhai and the rest might really have met with an accident. The discussion in the Demon Hunters Academy's forum was ongoing. However, no one linked the death of the young master's mercenary group to Wang Xian. Phew, looks like the death of Yun Hanhai and the rest won't make people think that it was Wang Xian who did it. At this moment, in the base of the Amethyst mercenary group of the Demon Hunters Academy, a group of core members of Amethyst were sitting in a room. Deputy Captain Xiao looked at the message on the forum and heaved a sigh of relief. Even if the young master's mercenary group knows that it was Wang Xian who did it, they won't be able to do anything to him with his strength. A girl said with a twinkle in her eyes. The young master's mercenary group might not be able to do anything, but the Yun family will not let him off. Wang Xian is very strong, but he is not a match for the Yun family. A female student beside him said. The rest of them nodded. When Deputy Leader Xiao and the rest came back to tell them about the incident, no one dared to believe it. A freshman killed a group of level 6 supernatural beasts in Yun Hanhai, and the rest in an instant, when he was severely injured. How strong could he be? He was at least at level 7 transcendent. There wasn't a single level 7 transcendent among the students of the Demon Hunter College. They couldn't believe what they heard. Their commander Feng Yun, one of the top 3 experts in the college, was still far from level 7 transcendent. Yuan, since he saved you, he is the benefactor of our Amethyst mercenary group. If we can help him, we will. Sitting in the center was a tall girl. She was at least 9 meters tall and wore black armor. One could vaguely see her perfect figure. She had golden eyes, golden hair, and a wild aura around her. She was the leader of the Amethyst mercenary group, Zhang Yitian, who had the bloodline of the winged demonic beast. She sat there and muttered to herself, "Invite him to the banquet tomorrow afternoon." Oh, Leader Jean, invite him? The other leaders mentioned that they wanted to talk about the mission in the Dragon Wind region. Xiao Yuanyuan said in surprise, "Leader, do you mean to bring him along?" "Yes, he is very strong. We Amethyst owe him a favor. Let's repay him," Zhang Yitian said with a frown. "All right." Xiao Yuanyuan nodded and looked to the side. Qing, go and send the invitation to Wang Xian." "Me?" Qing was stunned and stood up. "Yes, Wang Xian has saved you twice. It's better to build a closer relationship with such a strong person. You can go," Xiao Yuanyuan said to Qing with a smile. "It's the vice leader." Qing hesitated for a moment before nodding her head. In a house beside the Demon Hunters Academy, Wang Xian had rested for 4 to 5 days. He had completely recovered and was about to continue looking for missions to carry out when he saw Ao Jian attracting a girl from outside. He was stunned. "Oh, is there something wrong?" Wang Xian looked at Qing and asked with some doubt. "Commander Wang, I'm here to give you an invitation card. Our commander asked me to give it to you." Qing walked to Wang Xian's side helplessly and handed him an invitation card. He took it in surprise. "Our commander said that there will be a hiring mission for this banquet. If Commander Wang is interested, you can come and take a look." Qing didn't dare to look at him. In the past, Wang Xian had crippled her brother's limbs. She had thought that when she became stronger, she would seek revenge for her brother. Now, she had no such thoughts at all. "All right." Wang Xian took a look and nodded at her. "Also, I apologize on behalf of my brother. He's young and reckless." Qing lowered her head and apologized. "It's all right. I didn't take it to heart." Wang Xian shook his head. "I'll be leaving first then." After Qing finished speaking, she immediately ran out. Wang Xian took a look and smiled faintly. This girl was really kind-hearted. The banquet, the elite mercenary group banquet of the Demon Hunters Academy. Wang Xian looked at the name of the invitation card, and his eyes flickered. It's not a mission. To think that the Amethyst mercenary group would take it so seriously. Let's go and take a look. He thought to himself, and didn't plan to go out to look for missions. The next evening, Wang Xian walked out wearing simple clothes. This time, the Demon Hunters Academy's elite mercenary group banquet could be said to be a gathering of the elite students of the Demon Hunters Academy. The banquet was held in a mountain villa behind the Demon Hunters Academy. The mountain villa was called the Demon Hunters Mountain Villa. It was a large-scale gathering place. Chapter 997. You have offended too many people. Demon Hunter Villa. Wang Xian stood in front of a luxurious door. He looked at the plaque in front of him and walked straight in. Private gathering. Please show me your invitation card. When he reached the door, a young man stretched out his hand and said to him. Wang Xian handed the invitation card over casually. With the young man's nod, he walked in. There was only one path in the surroundings, so he wasn't afraid of taking the wrong path. The entire villa was planted with spiritual herbs of the first level of transcendence. Taking a breath would make one feel refreshed. The surrounding environment was very beautiful. Rockery and ponds were not inferior to those big villas and manors on Earth. It was even more magical. The gathering of the Demon Hunters Academy is here. Passing through a small path, a service staff member spoke to him at the intersection. Wang Xian walked for dozens of meters and saw a field. The field was open air, and there were some tables and chairs placed on it. At this moment, there were already many people there. At least 100 young men and women were sitting inside. A group of people were drinking and discussing something. Wang Xian walked straight over and took a glance. He didn't see anyone from the Amethyst mercenary group. He found a random seat and took a sip of the wine on the table. Some of the students didn't recognize Wang Xian when they saw him entering. Wang Xian had only stayed in the academy for less than 2 days. There weren't many students who had seen him. I heard that the Yin family went to the young master's mercenary group again yesterday. Did they receive any news? There is still no news from the 20 people in the young master's mercenary group. It seems like they are doomed. The young master's mercenary group suffered a great loss in this matter. Not only did they not kill Wang Xian, but they even lost their lives on the Thunder Island. I think that after such a thing happened, that kid named Wang Xian will die even more. The young master's mercenary group will not let him off. Even the Yin family will kill him to vent their anger. Just as Wang Xian was sitting there and waiting, a group of more than 10 people walked over to him. They were chatting in low voices. This student, do you have anyone here? A young man took a look at Wang Xian and asked him. No one. Wang Xian shook his head and sipped the wine in his cup. The good wine from the supernatural continent was slightly better. It could be 50 to 60 years old, or even a few hundred years old. The taste was completely incomparable to those on Earth. Dear student, which mercenary group are you from? You look a little unfamiliar? After a dozen of them sat down, a young man looked at Wang Xian and asked with a smile. The Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group. Wang Xian replied with a smile. The Immortal Phoenix Mercenary Group? Why haven't I heard of it before? A hint of doubt appeared in the young man's eyes. Someone sent an invitation. Wang Xian said faintly. Oh. The young man nodded and raised his head slightly. He smiled and said, We are from the Tornado Mercenary Group. Wang Xian nodded. When the young man saw that Wang Xian didn't have the envious look that he had imagined, he turned his head away unhappily and ignored him. Are the little guys from our Tornado Mercenary Group here yet? Yes, they are here. Those little guys are ecstatic when they heard that they could come to this gathering. I think they will be here soon. Yeah, we should recruit 1 or 2 good seedlings this time and nurture them well. The people from the Tornado Mercenary Group were chatting beside them. Leader, deputy leader, seniors. In less than 5 minutes, 3 to 4 figures walked over. They had excited expressions on their faces as they walked over with a smile. Take a seat. A young man nodded at them and pointed to a few seats beside them. Yes, leader. The 4 young men responded immediately and walked towards the seats beside Wang Xian. However, when one of the young men pulled a chair and was about to sit down, he was stunned when he saw Wang Xian. Why are you here? Duan Qingwen widened his eyes and whispered with an embarrassed expression. Now that he was facing Wang Xian, he didn't dare to speak loudly, let alone mock him. It's him. When the other young men heard Duan Qingwen's voice, they were stunned when they turned around. Oh, what's wrong? Do you guys know each other? The young man who spoke to Wang Xian earlier asked curiously. Senior, he is Wang Xian from our class. Duan Qingwen said with an unpleasant expression. When he finished his sentence, the surroundings instantly turned silent. Everyone looked at Wang Xian in unison. Their expressions changed slightly. Wang Xian, the freshman Wang Xian. The young man who was sitting in the middle immediately stood up and asked in a deep voice. Yes, leader, that's the one. Duan Qingwen nodded in slight astonishment. How did you get in here? The leader of the Tornado Mercenary Group kept changing his expression as he stared at Wang Xian with a dark expression. Wang Xian, the new Wang Xian. How did this fellow get here? He even dared to invite him over. This fellow not only offended the Amethyst Mercenary Group, but also the Young Master Mercenary Group. Now Yin Hanhai and the others had disappeared because of this guy. He was someone that the Young Master's Mercenary Group wanted to destroy. Who would dare to invite him over? No one would dare. No one in the Demon Hunters Academy would dare. But now this guy was sitting with them. If the others didn't know, they would think that it was their Tornado Mercenary Group who had brought him over. If this was seen by the Young Master's Mercenary Group, the Tornado Mercenary Group wouldn't be able to explain it clearly. Of course he walked in. Wang Xian saw the young man staring at him. He frowned and said faintly, Walked in? I don't care how you came in. Stay away from us. The leader of the Tornado Mercenary Group stared at him with a dark expression. Duan Qingwen was slightly stunned when he saw the captain's reaction. Then, a gloating expression appeared in his eyes. You want me to stay away from you guys? If I remember correctly, I was the one who came first. Wang Xian stared at the young man and said expressionlessly, If I want you to leave, then leave immediately. Why? Do you want us to ask you to leave? The young man standing next to the captain of the Tornado Mercenary Group also realized the problem. He stared at Wang Xian and said with a frosty expression, Wang Xian, I think you should stay away from us. How dare a person like you come here? You are really courting death. Duan Qingwen also spoke up. Now that he had joined the Tornado Mercenary Group, and the captain had already asked Wang Xian to leave, he wanted to add insult to injury. If he could leave a good impression on the captain and the rest, why would he be afraid of Wang Xian? At the thought of this, he looked down from above. His eyes were filled with mockery. Hee, I'd like to see how you guys are going to ask me to leave. Wang Xian's eyes revealed a cold expression. He stared at them and sat there motionlessly. Bang! I think you really don't want to take the easy way out. Kid, you've offended too many people. Get out of our place. Chapter 998. The Amethyst Mercenary Group made their move. Bang! I think you're really asking for it. Kid, you've offended too many people. Get the hell out of here. With a loud bang, the leader of the Tornado Mercenary Group slammed his palm on the table. He stared at Wang Xian coldly and shouted loudly. The commotion here immediately aroused the curiosity of the other students. Everyone looked over curiously. Student Wang Xian, our regiment commander has already told you to scram. Why are you still sitting here? Duan Qingwen's lips curled up slightly. He looked at Duan Qingwen with a mocking expression as he spoke loudly. Wang Xian. Which Wang Xian? The new Wang Xian? No way. How did he come here? When the crowd heard Duan Qingwen's words, they were stunned. Some of them walked over with curious expressions. They had heard a lot about Wang Xian during this period of time, but they had never seen him in person. They wanted to see who was the person who dared to provoke the young master's mercenary group so recklessly. You want me to scram? What right do you have? A hint of killing intent flashed in Wang Xian's eyes. He stood up coldly and glanced at the people from the Tornado mercenary group. He paused on Duan Qingwen. Duan Qingwen felt a chill in his heart when he saw Wang Xian staring at him. Following that, he glared at Wang Xian furiously. Qualifications? Kid, I don't care how you managed to sneak in. Leave us now. Otherwise, our Tornado mercenary group will let you know what qualifications are. The leader of the Tornado mercenary group stared at Wang Xian with a threatening look. They were not afraid of this new student. Even if this kid had severed the arms of an extraordinary level 4 powerhouse, his strength was extraordinary. However, he was still far from being comparable to them. Oh, then I would like to see your qualifications. Wang Xian sneered as he stared at the members of the Tornado mercenary group. This is the new student, Wang Xian? He's a little arrogant. Yeah, he's really arrogant. He actually dared to challenge the Tornado mercenary group. The Tornado mercenary group is not weak at all. He even dared to offend the young master's mercenary group, not to mention that he has gone crazy. In my opinion, he's courting death. When the people around saw Wang Xian, they started to discuss among themselves. They didn't try to hide anything, because they didn't put Wang Xian in their eyes. What ability did a freshman have? Good. Arrogant fellow. I don't know how you survived until today, but let me tell you, don't let us meet you in the wild in the future. When Captain Tornado saw the people around him looking at him, he instantly felt dispirited. He glared at Wang Xian and said, Haha, this Wang Xian has angered Tornado and the rest again. He's totally courting death. Exactly. I really wonder how he survived until today. I wonder how this kid got in here. Who invited him so recklessly? Could it be that he came in by himself? When the surrounding students saw Wang Xian's appearance, they felt extremely arrogant. All of them shook their heads and said with smiles on their faces, So what if we met in the wild? At this moment, a girl suddenly came over. Everyone was slightly taken aback. Upon hearing the familiar voice, they quickly looked towards the entrance. About 20 girls walked over. The leader was a blonde beauty, who was taller than most of the boys present. Her figure and height made many of the boys feel ashamed. The one who spoke was a burly girl beside her. Captain Zhang, Deputy Captain Xiao. The captain of the Tornado mercenary group was stunned for a moment, before he greeted Wang Xian with a smile. If I were to meet this kid in the wild, I guarantee that he will regret coming to this world. HMPH, what an arrogant and reckless fellow. The captain of the Tornado mercenary group said with a smile on his face. His gaze landed on Wang Xian, and was filled with coldness. The faces of the girls in the Amethyst mercenary group darkened immediately when they heard his words. Especially Vice Captain Xiao, who walked straight towards Captain Tornado with a frosty expression. Currently, Captain Tornado had yet to figure out the current situation. He only knew that Wang Xian had provoked the Amethyst mercenary group, but he didn't know what happened on the Thunder Island. When he saw Vice Captain Xiao walking over, he still had a smile on his face. Bam! However, his expression quickly turned stiff because Deputy Captain Zhao's fist landed heavily on his face. He didn't show any mercy. The body of the captain of the Tornado mercenary group flew backward heavily. A few of his teeth flew out. In the future, as long as the Amethyst mercenary group lets us see you in the wild, we will make you regret coming to this world. Deputy Chief Xiao said to the Tornado mercenary group with a cold expression. He was stunned. Everyone around him looked at this scene in astonishment. Why did Deputy Chief Xiao suddenly hit Chief Tornado and say such words? What's going on? Doesn't the Amethyst mercenary group have a feud with that Wang Xian? Why would they speak up for him? Deputy Chief Xiao, who had a stunned expression on his face, was stunned. Even Chief Tornado, who was knocked down on the ground, was stunned. The members of the Tornado mercenary group looked on at a loss. Student Wang, leave their tornado mercenary group to us. We will definitely let them know the price for offending you. Vice Captain Xiao glanced at the tornado mercenary group coldly. He turned around and said to Wang Xian, Student Wang Xian, thank you for the incident on the Thunder Island. Zhang Yitian walked over as well. He sized up Wang Xian curiously and said with a smile on his face, What exactly is going on? A young man mumbled in a low voice as he looked at Wang Xian in disbelief. The deputy captain of the Amethyst mercenary group took action personally to vent his anger for the new student. Captain Zhang Yitian walked over with a smile on his face again and spoke politely. Didn't this guy have a grudge against Amethyst? Why now? Wang Xian looked at the tall and beautiful lady, who was walking over with a hint of surprise in his eyes. He nodded his head faintly. Zhang Yitian smiled and looked at the members of the tornado mercenary group around him. The smile on his face disappeared and he shouted coldly, Scram! Scram! When they heard the captain of the Amethyst mercenary group telling them to scram, the members of the tornado mercenary group trembled. Leader Zhang, I'm sorry. Let's scram. We'll scram immediately. The vice leader of Tornado said loudly and walked to the side with an extremely embarrassed expression. The people around swallowed a mouthful of saliva and looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with shock. Why did that freshman Wang Xian have such a good relationship with the Amethyst mercenary group? Peng Peng. Duan Qingwen stood up with a trembling body. He staggered and bumped into the chair with a look of horror on his face. He had joined the Tornado mercenary group and thought that he had a backer. However, he didn't expect that he would actually be listed in the Amethyst mercenary group. Would he take revenge on him? Thinking of this, his body almost fell to the ground again. Compared to the Amethyst mercenary group, the Tornado mercenary group was on a completely different level. In the future, he would be in deep trouble. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.